Looks like I'm alone today. Well, it always sucks when your co-hosts don't remember that they have a show today. But I guess we'll just have to bring in some new ones. And it's been a long week, I think, for Star Trek fans, and I really feel bad for them. Like I was never really much of a Trekkie. I watched a little bit here and there. What is it, the Next Generation, a little bit of Voyager, a little bit of Deep Space Nine, but never really got identified as a Trekkie. And I'm starting to think that was probably a good idea, because I'm watching everybody's misery right now over what has happened about with their favorite show. And you know what? I just had to bring a couple of those people on and experience that misery for myself firsthand. So I guess today's guest like co-hosts will be we'll start with a guy who's been on before. I had to bring him back because he as soon as he told me that he had a Star Trek tattoo, yes, this is a K-pop Demon Hunter shirt. Yes, this is the Saja Boys. I love that movie. I watch that movie daily. Okay. Not lying. I will listen to that soundtrack or watch that movie every day if I can. And but as soon as this guy told me that he had a Star Trek tattoo, I remember the thing I said to him was, well, I'm going to have to bring you on in the near future as a Star Trek expert. And that's Mr. Movie Blues himself, Dan. How you doing today, buddy?
Good. How are you?
The term is not Trekker, it's Trekkie. What are you talking about, Road on Life?
Oh, here we go. We're starting with this. This is something you'll have to get used to in the Star Trek community. It's one of the great arguments before everything went absolutely to shit. These were the things we argued about: was Trekker or Trekkie, not the weight of somebody and how stupid they are and their position of being so stupid. But yeah, I'm very glad to be here. I guess I'm a Star Trek expert. I do have a back tattoo of Star Trek. I said
one
on
of
the
these
last
days,
pod,
if you're comfortable enough, we'll have to get you to show us the tattoo. Maybe if I get you drunk enough.
My shirt off. Yeah. Well, I got my 15-year scotch, so maybe I will get loose enough. And if the chat really wants to see
I'll
my
join
heinous
you.
back tattoo,
Everybody knows
here we
how
go.
I like
Here
my
we go.
tequila. So that's where's my
Beautiful.
where's my shot
So
glass?
yeah,
Where'd they go?
I don't know, Star Trek expert. I'm more like a Star Trek victim at this point, but
That's kind of what I feel like.
I'm very glad to be here under whatever circumstances. Unfortunately, it has to be Star Trek falling apart again, but very, very blessed and happy to be joining you again.
I'll hold on. I think I just got a text from it's okay. It's hold on. I got to tell my it's fine, guys. Here, this is you're gonna watch me. I'm gonna read my text. It's fine, guys. I got coverage.
Man.
There we go. Anyway,
okay.
That being said, I'll get to the chat in a second because I had this one's a little bit backwards of how I'm introducing everybody. But I don't remember the first time that I met this woman. She's been one that I followed for a while. Her channel is mostly Star Trek stuff. Like she obviously and sci-fi. One of my favorite things that she does though, she goes through Twilight Zone episodes. I'm always lurking in there when she does. I've popped in a couple of times to the chat, but I'm always watching because I love Twilight Zone. And I don't remember the exact intro that I gave her the last time, but it was something along the lines of like, in a world where everybody tries to be the same, this woman dares to be just a little bit different. And that's anti-derivative Jill.
Hey, hello, welcome. And I have been on the show before. I was here for Starship Troopers. What an awesome time that was.
I actually just hung that up because I remember that was one that you did. I think you were on it for another one.
Was he?
I want to say. I think you were. It doesn't matter. You're on here now.
Yeah, I'm here now. We're well, and yes, we are in pain. So thank you for.
Well, you were the first person. You were the first person I thought of when, because I obviously, as I said, I'm not, a walking encyclopedia for Star Trek knowledge. So I was like, I'm going to need some people who know their shit. And the first person that popped in my mind was you. So, and then Dan, and then Z3PO, who I will probably try to get on another time, but he's in England. So for him, it's like 1 a.m. So like, let me get to the chat. Well, why don't you do your little how you feel about what's going on with Star Trek right now while I look at the comments and
It's just as bad as ever. Every time they make a new Trek, they always try to see what new low they can get to, and this time they're saying, "What if we do Star Trek, but it's Harry Potter," or in the second episode's instance, Twilight, and just like
Yeah.
every other Trek, their main goal is to say the Starfleet and the Federation are evil now, so now we've gotta fight them, and
yeah, it is quite amazing how they went, because Star not Star the Federation is kind of this socialist utopia almost. Like, every nobody has any needs and they're just able to explore. I mean, everybody knows that amount. But just one event. Now it's a big event, but one event makes them go directly from socialist utopia right into military dictatorship. Apparently, there's no steps in between. They just go right from one to the other. There's not any, and I found that to be quite amazing. And I understand that. So this was the whole the burn thing. That's from that other shitty show, right? Discovery.
Yeah.
correct.
That's
Yeah,
from
Yes, a
okay.
Star
toddler
Trek.
screamed and all of the dilithium was destroyed.
Oh my
Yes.
God,
So
I
there's
forgot
no
about the toddler.
alternatives. So let me get this straight. There's no alternatives in the universe to energy. There's no they have a thousand
Well,
years worth of adaptation, and they haven't
that's
figured out a backup.
that's interesting you should say that because the Romulans don't use dilithium. They have these little, warp these little what are they called? Like,
You're
wormhole
asking
thingies?
me.
Yeah.
All I know about the
You're on the
Romulans is yeah. All I know about the Romulans is they have like the coolest ships, in my opinion. Them and the Klingons have the coolest ships. Which we'll get into the ships. Holy shit!
Oh my
This Athena
God.
ship look like trash? But let me acknowledge the chat
That's what it
here
is, a
first.
quantum singularity, that's it. So they
Okay,
use
the Romulans. So
something
there was
different, so the
there was a
Romulans could
couple of
help.
Star Trek games that I played years ago. And they were always like strategy games, like 4X kind of games. And I always liked the Romulans because they were, no matter what, they always started with cloaking technology. No matter what portion you started in, everybody else kind of had to develop it. That was their advantage. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so let's just acknowledge the chat a little bit. Melvin Deeply out there, always lurking with his one eye. Uh,
Well, that's
um,
what's funny, yeah, Starfleet should have been taken over by both the Romulans and the Borg because of the burn.
yeah, no, definitely. We'll get into that in a second. Let me just acknowledge the chat a little bit here. Call me Jeff, not Jeffrey. I'm not really sure what the hell he's saying. I think you should get this Aussie lady to duel, not duel tits together. Okay, so what? Her channel is Sugar Tits? What? Can you can you can you translate that into English, please? I'm not really sure what you just said.
I think he is recommending a channel called Sugar Tits.
Is
Who
her
is a
channel called
smart
Sugar Tits? Because
and
that I feel
a
like she
smart and
needs to
not
be on
ugly.
this on this show if that's the name of her channel.
Yeah, we've already got the
Um,
title, right?
yeah, Amelia Bedelia always in the chat. Let's see what else we got. I already highlighted Road on Life, who's already starting shit out there. Eraserhead, yes, they're lens flaring it up. I think that's just become standard in all of sci-fi now, though. I don't think that's just a Star Trek thing. They did it in the newer Star Wars. They've done it in everything that I've seen in the last 10
Well,
ish
he is
years.
Kurtzman's a protege of, J.J. Abrams,
Yeah.
so of course he's gonna do that.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, Soda Pop. Didn't highlight it. Soda Pop. That's such a great song. So that's definitely the cat. That was the one that should have won the Golden Globe. I'm very upset about that. Kino Flex is out there. Let's see. I gave up on watching Modern Trek after the infamous STD.
Yeah.
STD. Could someone
I
fill me
think
in?
Star
that
Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery. Okay, yeah. It became. I thought that there was like some actual epidemic of
It is.
I mean,
like you know.
it's perfect. It's actually perfect. Yeah, I think I think a huge portion of the Star Trek audience departed during disco, as it's called, or STD.
I love that.
And
I
yeah, I mean
STD. That's so great.
that show really kind of solidified, that we were never going to make it back. Okay, that was the point of no safe return with Star Trek Discovery. At least for me, I was like, "There's no salvaging this franchise. We're absolutely cooked from here on out. I don't know how, especially with the burn and how that affected the timeline and how many things don't make sense about the burn. Like somebody in the chat, let me see. It
Well,
was like
yeah, just
E7.
find it. I just
I
want to
can't
point out
scroll up.
to Marigold Lee. Lens flares do look cool, but when you overuse the shit out of them, there's diminishing returns on any time something's cool. That's just the unfortunate truth about things. And when you do them every single time you change scene and you go out to space, you're like, ah, yes, lens flare every time. It loses its meaning. It's cool.
Let me try
I was.
it. And
Oh, go ahead.
one thing that I find about the lens flare thing that I think was maybe the reasoning behind why it started in Star Trek '09 is just because I think JJ was honestly trying to liven up the palette of Star Trek in any way that he could, make it more energetic. And, Star Trek is such a static shot television show. Even the movies are pretty static. And, you're not seeing a ton of canted angles. You're not seeing steady cam or handy cam and things like that. And
Yeah.
I think the lens flare thing was just to kind of put energy into each frame, but it
Well,
became a joke
yeah.
of
Well,
itself
that
and
was
then
one thing
parody.
about Star Trek that always has, even as like an outsider, you can always kind of notice is even as they got bigger budgets, they still kind of maintained a little bit of that low budget feel, even as the franchise grew. And I think that might have
Sure.
been one of the reasons why it was so jarring, is because it went from we're still kind of using practical and we're doing it, then all of a sudden it was just like bam, CGI, everything's lighting up, and it which I admit it was pretty cool in the scene when they
Yeah.
in the modern movies where they show the Enterprise for the first time, but that's the only time they should have used it. That one time should have been it. What was the comment you were saying about in here? I didn't.
It was way up there at this point, but somebody said that the Borg would have taken over at this point, and that's like one of the issues with the burn. And kind of going to what Jill was saying, where like the power vacuum that would have existed if the burn was a real thing is so absurd. And there are factions in Star Trek like the Borg who would have used that as an opportunity to just absolutely take over the entire galaxy. That would have been it. The fact that everybody gave up and put their guns down for 100 years is bananas. I mean, it's just it's
Yeah,
nonsense. It's actually nonsense.
honestly, that is probably the most unrealistic. I shouldn't say that because they have people that are just randomly teleporting in places and shit,
Right.
and genetic hybrids that make absolutely no sense when you think about them for more than 5 seconds. But
Transporting
Yeah.
is supposed to be a complicated procedure with the
yes, it's the whole thing
transporter
is that
pad and
you're
everything.
basically disassembling a human being and reassembling them on the other end. It's like and to
I
be able to just
mean,
go, it doesn't
Well
make any
well,
sense.
like Kurtzman said, he's making a Harry Potter. You can apparate around because there's apparating in Harry Potter where you can do that. You can just
oh my god.
twist around and
I mean,
you're wherever you wanna be.
it's like you were on the same page as Rebel Rose here. Like you
They
said that as
apparate
she typed that. It was like,
That's a great
um
comment. Love that.
yeah, it does have this Hogwartsy feel to it where everybody's kind of this, you know, really one-dimensional character. I think we were talking about it briefly backstage before we started about Jaden Smith Cragg, as I've been calling him, the Klingon. He's very much like, I don't like violence and I want to heal people, and there's I know it's only 2 episodes deep, but you should at least already get a sense that he has a conflict within him, because his nature is Klingon nature is warfare. It's combat. For him to not even for him to go against that should be way harder, like internally. It should be almost like trying not to breathe as a human. It's part of you. It should look like a struggle. And he's just like, no, I like birds.
Yeah, Worf always
Like,
did pull off that struggle between having been raised by
yeah,
humans and his Klingon nature. That always pulled at
100%.
him. And there have been Klingon scientists before. There was a whole Next Generation episode, so this is acting like this has
Yeah.
never been done before.
They act like a lot of things are the first time, which is very common. I just want to say, Gap After Dark. What did I do? Why do you have to be after me? What's going on? Why am I gone?
Hi. Hi, Gap.
um,
He's my friend.
oh, that's awesome. I like when people, that when their supporters show up in chats. But Yeah,
Hello to Adam Rittenbaum for stalking me back in here tonight. Hello. He's
he's a
asking
fun
about the
guy.
burn. Yeah.
So
Kurtzman made
the
back a
burn
space.
was apparently just like a sneeze that turned into it was like their version of vibranium cancer. If you anybody who knows anything about
Yeah.
comics, it was kind of like their version of that, where but instead of blowing up, it just went inert. Um, I'm doing my research because obviously I'm covering the show here, so I need to learn about it. I'm just I don't want to learn any more about Discovery than I
Yeah.
need to. It's like
No, I don't
And you
recommend it. I
actually
mean,
you actually might know more than me because I gave up on season 2, but I did learn
well, I
things
don't know
from there.
shit. I just know about the burn. I just because obviously I had to look that up to understand even the opening 5 seconds of episode 1 because they immediately go into that voiceover narration about it, and I'm like, okay, what's the burn? Why don't you? It's like if you're gonna do this expository narration, at least take the 10 seconds to tell us what it was. If you're trying to get new people, you know.
Exactly, this
yeah,
show
I
is
mean,
not self-contained, you have to have an understanding of the Discovery universe because this is
Yeah.
a sequel to
But
that show.
yeah, I
but
mean,
what
like I definitely watched just like Jill the first couple seasons of Discovery, and then I even watched channels like ours that break these things down all the way until the end of the show. And again, Star Trek back tattoo. Again, I love Star Trek, and not until Jill said it today did I remember that the burn was like a sneeze from a cosmic entity who like literally sneezed and or like what was it,
It was a
gasped or
toddler.
something.
It was a toddler who
It was
had a
a toddler.
tantrum.
It was like a cosmic toddler being. I forgot about that, and it's insane that in the show they really think that people remember this shit. I mean, it's astounding that they have so much faith in their timeline that they are throwing out ideas like the burn and not explaining them. Like you shouldn't have to, not that I'm a fan of like exposition dumps, but when you're talking about everyone stopped going into space for 100 years, you should explain that again, like for the for the
so
deaf person in the back of the
here's
room. Like it's
here's the thing
insane.
is I make fun of it a lot in my videos, but that opening 5 to 10 second this is what's going on is kind of important. It's annoying for people who know what's going on because like okay fine, but it's gone by the time you realize it's happening, and you have to accept that not every show, no matter what, no matter how unself-contained it may be, the goal is to get new people to watch it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm okay. I would have been okay with that. Oh, Matt is here. Look at this guy showing up.
Yo, sorry.
I was making fun of you guys in the beginning. Like, everybody, Matt from Hard Cut. He's the cut
Hey,
one.
Matt.
Wait, hold on. I get to do this thing. Where is it?
I only get
I
Matt
get to do
again.
this.
I'm starting to
I
think
get to
that maybe
stare at
Matt.
you condescendingly.
I'm starting to think that Matt is the only member of Hardcut, and he just superimposes himself with and without glasses. Because I've never
Well,
seen them both in the same room at the same time.
it's funny because I
Oh,
actually started wearing my computer glasses more often, and people have like noticed that, and I'm like, it's because I'm sitting behind a computer screen more often, and my eyes are starting to. I'm like, I'm wearing glasses so my eyes don't get worse. It's the weirdest thing.
That's where I'm at
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
We're all allergic to Retinax.
So
mean-
Matt, before we move on, why don't you have you been following? I don't remember which one of you guys said that you had opinions on Star Trek. Was it you or was it Bobby?
Well, Bobby is more of the Trekkie than I am. I like Star Trek, but I'm not like really a Trekkie. I like the movies, but
Well, that's kind of what I was saying to Jill backstage.
yeah.
I was like, I saw the old movies, at least 3 of the old movies. I watched a little bit here and there, but I never dug deep into the stuff,
Right.
Never too
And
late to start.
It's well, I even said to you, I was like, it wasn't that it was too late. It's just by the time I kind of like, people were trying to get me into it. Everyone was like, this one's okay. It's no Kirk era, and then it would be the next one be like, this one's okay. It's a little worse than the previous one, and I was like, this is not inspiring confidence, guys. I'm not gonna jump on a train that's slowing down when I'm trying to go to a destination.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that guy that's like, you'll always have your old Trek. Don't complain about the new stuff. They'll never take away the old stuff. But when it comes to Star Trek, like that is more true than most. Like if you do have any inclination, because I'm about to shit on Star Trek for the next couple hours, but if you
Yeah.
have any inclination to
Oh,
get into
we'll
Star
get
Trek,
more into the plot in a minute. Don't worry. I just want to catch
yeah,
Bobby up a little bit. But I do. Yes.
DS9 and Voyager are worth every goddamn second. If you haven't seen them, if you've always been on the fence, they are incredible. So, it's not a complete loss being a Star Trek fan. It just has been for the past like 12 years.
You
And to
still have
answer
735 iterations of Star Trek you can watch, including the
Uh-huh.
movies. That's up to
Yep.
2005.
Quantum Ranger Power, yes, they are just these are Gunners. That's the company. I don't like hide what company I'm using until they give me uh a sponsorship. But these are some of the better blue light blocking glasses you can get. So, and they're not crazy expensive. I own like 4 pairs for varying levels. So,
Hmm.
like if I'm doing editing, I wear one because then you're like staring at very small sections. I wear higher filtration. But so, I mean, I guess we should probably talk about the episodes as constitutes because, quite frankly, it starts, in quite possibly the dumbest way I've ever seen, which is this how to put it, um, extremely 21st century single white mother that's being put on trial for not being for being an idiot and being like, oh, I need to shack up with pirates because I need food. And it's like, there's no other way that you could do this. I understand that shit's not good, but there's gotta be a better way than that. And I'm going to throw this one out there. I think that this show would be better if it was just an hour every episode of Paul Giamatti just chewing up the scenery. Cause he's the absolute best part of this. His insanity for the 3 minutes he's on screen is the only
Yeah.
stuff that I really enjoyed. So
I think what we're
He's
seeing is kind of what we see in shows like The Acolyte and Alien Earth, all these modern shows where it's almost like the cool girl principle, where like when you meet a girl, she pretends like she likes video games, she pretends like she likes hot wings and sports, and then when you really start getting into the relationship, the real human being comes out, and they hate hot wings and they despise sports. And with these new shows, it feels like they take the first episode, the first hour, to really try to sell you something that doesn't fucking exist. And in
Right.
this
don't
case,
worry.
they're
Hold that
telling you
thought,
this
Amelia.
cool.
Hold that thought, Amelia. We're not going to go through the episode like every set, but we're going to pick and choose random things to talk about,
Yeah.
basically. But I figured we should start with the opening. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah, no, no. And basically, yeah. I mean, when you look at episode one and episode two next to each other, episode one is kind of like space battles, Paul Giamatti, the central crux of kind of the conflict, the inciting incident for Caleb to go out and join Starfleet. These are things that are we've seen them in the series before, but they're not like so cringe-inducing that I wanted to die. But they were really hiding their level of bullshit, I think. And as long as they could hold it was just one episode. I mean, Alien Earth even, I would say, made it 2 episodes before we all realized it was the worst fucking thing in the world. But like this one,
No, I
they
knew
got
right
one
off the
hour
bat.
out.
I knew that first episode. I was like, this sucks.
I was
Well,
full.
I think
I
you're
said,
right. I could give you an example of that because we have had a
yeah,
criminal become a Starfleet officer again in Tom Paris, but they were lost in space, so there was no way to get back and have him, face whatever he needed to face. Yeah,
right,
and not just him, but then all the Maquis were obviously not in line with the law either. But
yeah. And then
they were lost in the Delta Quadrant, so that's a good excuse. What's the excuse here?
right. I mean, and it's also like Kurtzman wrote Star Trek '09, and in Star Trek '09, you have the scene where Pike is recruiting Kirk, who at this point in his Kelvin timeline existence is basically a criminal. He's beat up. He's getting into fights at bars. He's stealing cars when he's a kid. He's kind of like a piece of shit, and he needs to be talked into straightening out and going into Starfleet, and now we have another Kurtzman show where you're getting the same scene, the same dynamic again. It's just like, that's okay. I'm fine with that. It's really the second episode when it just became mask off. Like, here is the actual acolyte shitstorm that we have hidden beneath 1 hour of Paul Giamatti. And
I'm
yeah,
really not okay with you're actually a lot more okay with it than I am because I love my one of my favorite Wesley episodes. The time I actually like Wesley Crusher is coming of age where he's one of the smartest kids ever and he has to take this test to enter Starfleet Academy and it's not just a science test, it's also a psychology test. And he has to go through a battery of all this stuff and he actually fails. And it's great to see that. And in this case, what's even worse is
We
that they
all do.
lampshade it in the second episode. Oh yeah, he took the test on the way in the shuttlecraft on the way over, and he got a 90. So okay,
I think I
Joey
missed
Bag of
that line.
Donuts loves tits. That's why I named it this.
so
I'm
she
telling you,
basically.
I've said it before. I sat on that name for over a year, like hoping nobody would steal it, and no one did because no one's as dumb as me to come up with that shit. But one thing, so to piggyback on what Dan was saying, um, I know that there's the whole, Kirk breaks rules and kind of gets, but he like straightens up once he's in, Starfleet and the Academy. Like he becomes, like legit.
And you got to
This
remember that's the JJ verse in
and that's
real
the
life.
Yeah.
JJ version.
Captain Kirk, when he was in the academy, he was a huge nerd. He was a
Yeah.
teacher's assistant. He held his own classes.
Well,
His friend Gary Mitchell called him a walking stack of books.
And but
Right.
here's the thing with this guy, with Caleb, he every turn he breaks another rule, and then and Nala is just like, what are you gonna do? Let's just give him yet another chance. And it's happened in the first two episodes. I think it's happened like 8 times already. If you count him, if you count before he's in Starfleet Academy, if you only count the ones while he's there, it's probably like 4 or 5. And it's like, at what point do you just keep giving this dude second, third, fourth, fifth chances? Like, he clearly is a fuck up. Also, how the hell did he learn all this stuff that he did? Like, that's one thing
Yeah.
I want to point out.
It's also like insane even to zoom out in terms of Nala, because she quit Starfleet and basically hid out in an interstellar daycare for like 100 fucking years, and they hired her within 24 hours of the maiden voyage of the Athena. So, like, why not have a criminal solve all your problems when you're hiring people that literally quit your organization? This is like, also, they're rebooting Starfleet. They should have the most committed, militant, smartest minds in the room, and they like literally go out and pick a woman who's double fisting ice cream cones at a daycare. And it was just really crazy. And then it was like, she's protecting him. And I was like, okay, I mean, it's a chain of retardation. It's not even just like him. There's like, he's being protected by somebody who's just as fucking dumb. So I don't know. It's like failure all the way upwards. It's
The only
really
character development we have for her is that she was a judge during a kangaroo court where they were physically abusing the prisoner with pain sticks.
I didn't even
And
hear that.
Wait,
no, that's the beginning of the episode.
when
I
was
feel
it?
like you and I
Oh,
watched
you're talking
different
about Paul Giamatti. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Honestly, that whole sequence in the beginning,
Oh, okay, I know.
that took me so long to even take notes on, because I was like, okay, what the fuck is even going on here? So you have this court. First of all, you have, and they do this this second screen, the second screen writing, this modern second screen writing is really starting to get to me, because they open with this sequence of her explaining, Tatiana Maslany's character explains everything. Then they drag them to another room and they say all of that same shit again, like within 2 minutes of it just being said. And it's just, now it's said a little bit more stern. Now it's from the perspective of someone who's mad instead of trying to justify it. And it's just, I don't. Then they take the kid, and they're like, oh well, like, she has visitation rights, and we're gonna send you, to school because fuck it. And and then he's like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm just gonna get this. I'm gonna somehow take your comm badge, and you're not gonna notice that until you go to take my teddy bear, and then I'm gonna run, and then you're not gonna be able to find me. I'm a 8-year-old or whatever, or what I guess, yeah, 15 years,
6.
20, so 6-year old. You're telling me that they couldn't figure?
Yeah.
First of all, he has her comm badge, right? You can't track that. You can't do anything like that. It's just even that opening scene, the writing just doesn't. None of it
With the
connects with
dust
what's going
storms.
on. you know?
And also, they're so
I mean,
worried about the dust storms,
went.
but there's force fields, so why
Yeah.
would they care?
Yeah, why does it matter? I mean, also they went so far out of their way to set up that opening location like it's fucking Arrakis, but then they show a 6-year-old escaped through a window in like a tower and somehow made it out in the roughness of that environment and survived, and nobody found him or tried, or it just,
My favorite
yeah, it
thing is
really
they.
boggled the mind.
My favorite thing is that they jump 15 years and he's like this jacked dude, right? Like he's just in sick like 8-pack shape, huge arms. Can't do push-ups though. Cannot do push-ups. That's one thing he's not good at. Which I can understand. The shoulders, they just go. But he even says, he's like, I was starving and I had no food and I was living in a dumpster. Like, where the fuck was that dumpster? Was it in the back of an Outback Steakhouse? Like, where'd you get all the protein, dude?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I think what
you
needs to
can't
be
have this.
said also is just
Say
the
again?
replicator thing. A lot of people are really hung up on, the idea that in a utopian future, when you have machines that can make food literally out of thin air, why are we dealing with problems of starvation now? Like maybe somebody's living out on the fringe. I guess sure, but it just doesn't vibe with just the ideas of Star Trek. Having a mother killing for food is just like not something that tracked for me. I was just like, what is this?
It
This
doesn't,
doesn't make
but
sense.
this has happened in New Trek before, where they've done that before, where
It seems like
they
they're hell
say,
bent on making a dystopia. It's
yes,
just
it is a dystopia.
Yeah.
Starfleet is greedy and evil and won't share their replicators, apparently.
Sheer
so
fucking hubris.
so in the interest of not going completely in order, because Amelia Bedelia hates that apparently.
Yeah, just
I want to kind of go around. I've already said kind of thing, and I have a feeling I know which one Jill is going to choose. But like the thing that has driven you the most nuts in this so far, and if I have one more that I'll mention, but like obviously, Matt, I almost called you Bobby. Matt, if you don't really have anything, because I know it's not really your thing, it's fine. But if you have watched it and something has just stood out that was just so egregiously stupid, just go on. You can list them. It
I
doesn't matter
mean,
if it's in the first or second episode, by the way.
I've just seen clips, and just what strikes me, I guess, are all the fat lesbians that they're showing.
Technically, nobody has come out as a lesbian yet,
Well,
but
come
it's
on.
coming. It's coming. It's coming.
I mean, come on.
I don't know how they're gonna do it. I have no idea how they're gonna do it, but they're gonna make a hologram lesbian relationship. They're gonna do it. I don't know how they're gonna justify it. But
They're
like,
determined to put as little sci-fi in this as possible, so the
it,
interrelationships are going to take over, and that's when that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm gonna predict that Gay Worf's parents are 2 women. That's my guess.
well,
We'll get to his backstory episode, and he'll be like raised by 2 lesbian bird watchers on the far side of the Klingon shores.
like I was saying, we said this backstage. He's the only one of the characters who kind of even feels like an actual natural character, though.
Yeah, sadly, weirdly enough,
that's such a low bar that he clears, because none of the rest of them feel like that. They literally just feel like exposition dumps, walking exposition dumps.
No,
Jill,
but he also speaks very monotone, like, so I thought it was interesting that Dan was saying that he might be hiding something, and well, I guess that'll be a thing.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have an episode about that character, and it is going to be fucking mayhem. They're not showing it yet, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna get there. They wouldn't go out of their way to like hire that guy and make this character the way he is without planning some episode where just the evils of the Klingon Empire and it's just going to be. I can see it now.
Is there something about the actor? Because I don't know shit about the actor. Maybe like you can clue me in on something about the actor.
He's a very effeminate man who wore a purple suit to the premiere and was talking about Klingon diversity being a very important thing, and that Klingons are a very diverse culture.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Anybody who wears purple, totally gay. Really
We'll
gay.
get there with him.
Just the
But I agree
gayest
with
gay.
you. Just the fact that the Klingon character talks like this, and it means that he's even watched an episode of Star Trek. So I guess that's a leg up on some of the people in the show. So I agree. I think he might be the best character, maybe because he said almost nothing at this point. So
My
less
my
cumulative damage.
my earliest videos had that problem where I was just doing this. I talked like this the whole time, and it was very. I can understand. I
Me
have.
too, but I'm not on a multi-million-dollar television
Yeah.
show.
No, I mean, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that that's what I did. Jill, I have a feeling I know what your biggest pet peeve with this show is, but I want to see if I'm right. So I'm going to let you kind of
Oh,
have the
my
floor
biggest
for a
one?
second. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
okay. I don't know. If you're gonna say the biggest one, that ship is the ugliest thing I've seen
okay, that's
ever,
not
and
exactly. Yeah, not
so
exactly where I thought
what?
you were going to go, but
Okay, where I don't know.
I thought
Well,
you were
there's
going to
just
go with the way Nala carries herself on the bridge.
okay. The way she sits in her chair like she's in a lazy boy, where she's reading her novels, not paying attention to anything that's happening on her own bridge. So, an enemy can come sneak up and just demolish everybody because she's too busy reading chapter 7. And
Of
yeah.
50 Shades of Grey or whatever she was
Yeah, I
reading.
did. Yeah, I realized that needed an ending, but I didn't know it just to make her read. But yeah,
Um,
no, yeah, she's very well, but it's just lots of little details like that. No respect for the bridge at all. And the
uh,
flag is wrong. This is a Starfleet Academy episode. The flag is incorrect. I hate that broken delta. And not only that, they changed the motto to Ad Astra, um, Scientia, through struggle the stars. So now it's all about the struggle. But the real Starfleet Academy motto is Ex Astris Scientia, meaning from the stars knowledge. And so now it's not about knowledge, it's about the struggle. It's about our
That
trauma.
second, the original one like literally gives me chills for you to read it out loud because it sums up Star Trek so perfectly, and the new one sums up everything else so perfectly. It's sad. So
I'm gonna get my own. I want to get my own motto in Latin, and I want it to translate into "from the cow burger." And that's what I'm gonna. And yes, Amelia
Yes.
Bedelia, purple was historically the royalty color because it was the most expensive dye. Had nothing to do with the color itself, other than the dye was the most, which is actually the reason why the British used red for their uniforms because it's the cheapest dye. So,
Jill, I have a question for you. Maybe you can answer since you seem to have a vast spread of knowledge on the topics here. When it comes to the ship, it's clearly modeled after their communicators, but is that shape of their communicators in this show, which has like those wings basically, which mimic the ridiculous wings of the back of the ship, was that a design that we've seen before, or is the communicator also new for the Athena? Because like I didn't recognize that shape, and then everyone's wearing it. It just was strange to me.
You know as much as I do, I've never seen a feather become a starship before.
Right.
So
Yeah. The feathered
and also the
communicator is
feathers
so
spread
odd.
apart.
it doesn't.
Right.
So the closest thing I could come up with for that for their what they're doing is Protoss ships from StarCraft. If anybody ever played or followed StarCraft, but the thing
Mhm.
about StarCraft about Protoss in the StarCraft is that their ships are held together by literal psionic magic. Here it's just like magnets, I guess. I don't really know what's holding it together. And it just seems
I
like
don't
a
know.
very impractical design. First of all, how do you get from section to section of that ship? Is everybody just in the center? Do the wings not have any rooms? And if
It
you
would
do
have
have
to be intership beaming all over the place, which is
Yeah.
not
Personal
advisable.
transporting
yeah,
24
like
hours a day.
I guess like that just seems really dumb. That like you would expect them to just want to be able to walk. It's I don't know. So the fact that you mentioned the communicator, my moment or my like thing that I just could not get over was so they're doing their physicals, right? And they have this one chick walk up, well, maybe it's a chick, who knows nowadays, and she's like, I swallowed my comm badge. First of all, the thing has spikes on it, so that thing is tearing up her insides. Like it is ruining every aspect of the inside of her body. But that being said, What is it? EMH, EHM? Which one? It's
EMH.
EMH. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to get it wrong. His immediate response is already. So
Yeah,
this is a
what?
common
What is that?
occurrence. People just swallow their metal, sharp metal com badges so often that you have a protocol for it. Their
That
protocol
was
should have
insane.
been their protocol should have been as soon as she said that she was expelled. That's
I saw that clip. She legitimately looks and sounds retarded.
yeah,
Like legitimately. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, but there's one part of me that loves Star Trek and I want to explain it away. Maybe she's an alien who eats random objects like Bortus from the Orville. But no, they're never gonna reveal that. She's just an
No.
idiot.
got a couple of small
And she
super
passed
chats.
the what's also worth mentioning is not only is that ridiculous, the whole throwaway line of "I ate my com badge," and then countering that with a throwaway line of "already," but also the fact that as the episode progresses, you see that not only did that girl pass her physical, but like she's like on duty when Paul Giamatti attacks. Like she's running around having a panic attack. She's the girl in the hallway going "Red
Oh yeah,
alert! Red alert! Red alert!" Like
I didn't
the
even
fact that
realize that
she
was the
made
same girl. I didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
notice that.
yeah, and it's just incredible. Like, okay, like that maybe in Kurtzman's twisted mind that was like a funny throwaway joke, but like to then suggest that she did make it through the physical after admitting she has swallowed like a 6-inch long piece of metal with electronics in it. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess the hiring standards have really
I don't know if
dipped.
I don't know if it's a 6 inch long piece of metal, but it's definitely how. First of all, I don't know if anybody's ever like tried to dry swallow like an aspirin. That shit's
Hard.
difficult. Can you imagine trying to dry swallow a fucking basically a razor blade? Like I have
I
a
can't do it.
couple of
Yeah.
short little super chats here. I just want to get to the word I'm looking from RRT and Z for $2 New Zealand. The word I'm searching for is bullocks. I always love his. It's like Welsh cupcakes. I'm not really sure what. I think that's what it is, but it's a. But yes, I would say bullocks. That's a good one. That's a good way to put it. And Proctophile actually has paid me to tell me the answer to my question. No burger in Latin, but there's de bove cibis, which I don't know what that translates into, but I'm guessing it's like from cow steak. I don't know. Let's what. Tell me what it
I
is,
think yeah,
Proctophile.
that is from cow
Yeah, yeah.
steak.
Um, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
I feel like we could like go over so I just got from I just went from the filter to that had the supers up, and the first thing I see from Amelia Bedelia is her name is Deep Throat.
Well, Rebel Rose says that Starfleet used to be the top 1%, but now I guess Starfleet is desperate. If you got a pulse, join Starfleet.
Well, in desperate times, they there has been historical um laxing of standards in military, but usually that only applies to infantry and lower ranking officers, not the best, not your like West Point or the Citadel are not going to be like, okay, we're going to just take in anybody. Like so it does really come off like we just need we'll just take anybody who's holding a pencil and has a pulse, actually pulse optional. So
The hologram. Forgot.
yeah, that does. What was it? Was you Dan who was talking about the hologram technology that just doesn't make sense to me? You want
There
to take
are
that?
so many hologram related snafus going on in this show. I really don't know. Like we have, obviously we have two characters. We have the EMH, and then we have SAM, the autistic hologram robot lady. I would assume that there is a vast difference between the two. It seems like Sam is part of a culture of hologram people. Is that right? Do you think?
That's what she says. She says she's from a planet of holograms. I guess the whole planet is a holographic emitter somehow.
And she's
I don't know.
only a few months old, which I don't know what is more ridiculous, having Sam join Starfleet, who's several months old, or having the EMH from Voyager, who's now 800 years old, right? I mean, how old is he at this point? And he is like a major figure in Starfleet Academy. I'm pretty sure they would want something with a little bit more of an updated system than a hologram that is hundreds of years old. I mean, it's just like neither makes sense. And then when you go into the science of just how they're constantly materializing, obviously Sam is hugging people, shaking people's hands. She has a physicality, I guess, made out of hard light. And then the EMH is able to switch back and forth at a whim. Like there's a point where the EMH is giving a shot to Caleb in his neck, and Caleb swipes his hand goes through the EMH while the EMH is still holding the gun to his neck. The gun doesn't fall. He shoots him with the medicine. And it's like, I just, was he then only using hard light on his hand and not his forearm? I literally, like, it's not even worth
I can
going into.
give
It
that
says
to the Doctor, not because of New Trek, but because of the basis of Foundation from Voyager, where the whole series was about him breaking through from his programming, being able to change himself as he wishes. And so that maybe that's one of the functionalities, but they don't delineate that because the show is not about exploring the actual sci-fi concepts that you just explained.
right.
RRTNZ for 10 New Zealand dollars. The short, dumpy female Gem Hadar was the deal breaker for me. Everything else was just puke on a crap sandwich. That's
Femhadar.
yeah, Femhadar.
Everyone's calling her that, yeah, because from Deep Space Nine, you don't have any Jem'Hadar women. In fact, they don't have any genitals at all,
Yeah.
and they're just warriors. They're just
Well, yeah, I was going to
soldiers.
get to that in a minute, but just to finish off the super chat, Wesley Crusher could sorry, Wesley Crusher could only be on this show if they removed half his brain and personality. Once again, thank you, RRTN. Yeah, I mean,
This
basically
show makes
everybody.
me like Wes. It makes Wes look
So
good.
yeah, the Jem'Hadar.
Yeah.
So that was another one. So first of all, they do make up several species or several things on this show, but they are using some of the existing ones. And
Mhm.
maybe somebody can explain the Jem'Hadar a little bit more to me, because it seems like they're all male or possibly asexual, and they're cloned from each other. So how is she half Klingon? How does that work?
A
Test
Anybody
male
have an
tube,
answer?
maybe?
How does
Cloning?
bang, a male clone Jem'Hadar banged a. No, they can't bang. I don't know.
Like, do they even
Transport
Yeah.
have?
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
like do they even have dicks? Like, is that like they? I don't know.
So I
I don't
came up with
know.
one answer. So they were created by the founders from the
Mm,
changelings from Deep Space Nine with their DNA. So it's possible that when Odo joined and he said, "We don't need to enslave the Jem'Hadar anymore. Let's make sure they're no longer addicted to the Ketracel White, the drug that they used to control them." And so now we can also let them reproduce naturally. So we just have to change their DNA structure. And that would have been great if they added that information into the show
Sure.
once
Once
again.
again,
I can make up any kind of crazy stuff that'll actually
they
make this
needed
stuff
you
make
to.
sense. If you're
They
actually a Star
still
Trek
need
fan,
you.
you could have made this show work.
and it's funny because Gina Yashir, she's a comedian. I've seen her. I've like seen her stuff pop up. She's not particularly funny. She's not the worst comedian I've ever seen though. Um, but she is essentially a walking checklist of diversity quotas. She's an African immigrant to England, lesbian. Like she just they could have just hired her and just everything could have just been taken care of, and then they threw a bunch of makeup on her, which I found a little funny. That the people who seem to be the ones who like we think might be those quotas are the ones that are getting the most makeup put on. It's um what other characters were there that just don't fucking make any sense? I just want the whole show to be Paul Giamatti.
Oh,
Hard to finish.
they had a species from Charon. We don't really hear this person speak, but they're
Right.
from a race that
Oh,
demolished
the half.
This
themselves
is
because of
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
it's
go
the
ahead. I'm
half
sorry.
black, half.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. You're right. You got it. It's from Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, and we don't know this character, but they're there, and they did that in Section 31 also, bringing back this extinct species just because all of New Trek loves that episode because it's about racism.
Yeah, yeah. I somebody did point that out. I think it was Z3PO pointed that out to me, that it was that species is supposed to be extinct, and all of a sudden they're just unextinct. It's Were they
something
extinct
that
though?
something that
That's another
really has
thing.
been irking me personally about all of this, and
Yes, they were.
honestly, this even goes back to like disco and stuff like that. Is like we're okay. Like let's just accept the fact that the people that are making Star Trek, they want to be as diverse as possible. They want to have everybody represented, except for maybe strong white men, but that's a different story. And of which there are absolutely none in the show. This is a hard zero on that front, which I don't really care that much. What I do care about is that why can't there be, if we're trying to represent everyone, why can't we have a smart character? Why can't we have a nerd? Why can't we have somebody who joined Starfleet because of their love of engineering and science? Does every character in these shows need to be this like highly reactive, emotional, unmotivated in many cases? I mean, most of the cadets, they don't have a special interest. They're not trying to achieve anything. They're just like, it's like Harry Potter. They're just kind of going to Hogwarts to experience the castle. And it's like, that's not how this would work. Like, if you look at the top academic institutions that we have in the world, you don't see like a bunch of fucking idiots walking around there. And it's not just because they can't get in, it's because there are people that dedicate their entire lives to these pursuits. Like, I was watching one of Despot's videos about Three Body Problem, which that's my favorite novel series. And his biggest complaint with that was that they replaced a really hard science genius character with this gorgeous, hot Latina girl who you would never believe in a trillion years is like a dork. Like, if we're going to include everyone in these shows and you want to somehow shut up the nerds that are complaining about all these characters and the wokeness and the diversity quotas, just give me a fucking guy that seems like he likes science. Is that crazy on Star Trek? Like
Yeah, that's what
to
they're
me,
trying to do with the Worf character. Wait, what's his name? Jaden. It's not
Jaden
Worf.
Cragg.
But
I don't
even
even know his
Harry
name.
Potter is better because Hermione is a nerd, and actually,
Sure.
it's only in the books, not in the movies. But the Slytherin, the main Slytherin kid, Malfoy,
Malfoy.
Draco.
he's actually right behind Hermione in grades all of the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's implied that the teachers are like paid off though a lot of the time with him. So, but one thing about we mentioned that there's a whole thing about like, well, can we have a character who loves science? And they they could have easily done that with the main character with Caleb, but they don't
Sure.
explain any of his abilities. All of his abilities are just as soon as he needs to be able to do something, can just do it.
Yeah, he
I need to be able
can.
to hack.
He does know science. Actually,
Yeah.
I analyzed some of the technobabble when they were trying to fix the programmable matter because they had to figure out what it was made out of. And so they
Yeah.
went on top of the ship and did all the things. And so it goes from he goes from one technobab that has to do with chemistry, the next one computer science, and then the next one is calculus. So they just said calculus, computer science, databases plus chemistry is our answer, and we've got a magic wand.
I mean, I think Occam's razor in this situation really is that the reason that there aren't this character that I'm looking for is because there's no one smart enough to write them. And that,
No, that's true.
has plagued all of these modern shows, which is you just are only as smart as the fucking characters that you're writing sometimes. Sometimes. I think a good enough writer can easily write a character that is much smarter than they would ever be and kind of show that in really natural ways. And it's like they don't even try anymore. They're done trying. It's just at this point, it's just slop characters, and there's never somebody that I'm like looking at like, wow, and you look at the other Star Trek shows and you will find that character in every single series, even though it was so much nerdier in general. You still had one person whose pure joy and pursuit is the science of it. And that is why so many scientists loved Star Trek. People were naming rockets after Star Trek concepts. I don't think scientists watch Star Trek Discovery. I don't think scientists watch the shit. I mean, it's just garbage. So they've separated the intellect out of Star Trek, which I would argue is one of its most important facets. And just what we have left is just all the worst parts of Star Trek that have always existed, but amplified because there's nothing to cover it. It's just all we have is interpersonal drama, action, and slop. And
You're
so
right,
it's just
because Caleb can do all the science without actually expressing any of it in any meaningful way. He says in the next episode, "You can't teach me anything about quantum mechanics or
right,
whichever class
that
he's
I don't
in."
know.
So
Okay, can you show us that instead
So
of telling
he's
us?
got, and if these kids have nothing to learn, why are they at school?
also, how did he learn any of this shit? Like, you can't tell me that his mother taught him. So there's a I know it would have really stole like right out of Guardians of the Galaxy, unfortunately. But they could have had him get arrested because he was kind of doing the same thing his mother was, you know, sort of being with these pirates, learning tricks of the trade where he can, instead of being this loner that they continuously hammer like they just keep doing it, like, oh, I didn't have anybody, I had no food, I had enough. They say it multiple times. It's like, so then how did you learn any of this? You can't just
Right.
learn this stuff. Someone needs to teach you.
He had to have
It,
been adopted by somebody at some point.
yeah. Well, he's
And how did you
Jay
learn all of these
Jameson.
things?
Jay
I was
Jameson.
just going to
He's
say, how do you learn all these things while also working out and being as shredded as
yeah,
Bane? I don't fucking understand how
yeah.
those two things can exist in the same space either. So
He's
Zane or Mike Tyson?
technically. It's fun. It's
the
funny
ear
that
bite.
I had a note about Laura Thok. I was like, that sounds like he just said floor sock. Like that would be like Mike Tyson, floor Thok. Floor Thok. But he's technically not an orphan because his mother isn't dead. And we also don't know the status. She's in prison. He like knows she like, so I don't know. He's like a ward of the state, supposed to be, but he's not technically an orphan.
Was
Which
anybody else getting like strong Aladdin vibes from him in the second episode too? He's like courting like the king's daughter. He's like a ruffian from the streets.
I was just getting strong retard vibes out of him. Like, hey, this, you've been told that this is the most important thing that will ever happen in your lifetime, basically. You know, to realign with, what's the name of the species that was the
Betazoids.
Betazoids. That's it. Yeah, like we need to we need to reestablish this alliance because essentially half of the Federation is behind their wall. That's basically what it was. And you know, what's the first thing he does is, as soon as he meets the daughter of uh, the chancellor or whatever the hell it was, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try to bang her. Yeah, that's gonna, like, could you at least wait until the negotiations are over? Like these are like a 2-day negotiation. Like, you don't need to do that right this minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Betazoids, they get them completely wrong. They think that they're all empathic like Deanna Troy when they're actually telepathic, the full Betazoids anyway.
Somebody,
I
I forget,
mean,
somebody said in the chat that the actual actor is deaf, and that's why they had him doing the interpret, like was it the sign language that was being interpreted by a computer. I did not actually know that until about 3 minutes ago when I read that in
But
the
the
chat.
episode doesn't say that. The episode doesn't
Doesn't
say
say
this
it.
man
Yeah.
is deaf.
no. I don't know. It's hard to tell if the writers are trying to say that maybe more than just him in terms of betazoids are able to are speaking in sign language with each other. I mean, what doesn't make sense to me is like when you start zooming in on this, there's so many things that don't make sense about the deaf thing. Like, for example, like correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. They betazoids amongst themselves can telepathically speak to each other in their minds, right?
Correct. That's right.
Okay, so
Even
in all of these
even
things where you
even
have
Loxana could telepathically speak to Deanna, even though she
sure,
doesn't have that same power.
but then you have scenes where, for example, when they walk in with the royal procession, basically,
Oh,
his two
here it
kids or
is.
the two heads of the youth group are speaking in sign language to him, saying things kind of secretly. Why are they communicating to each other in sign language? That was baffling. And
So
then where I
yeah, here.
really lost it, you want to read this?
Yeah. Sorry. This is
No,
only because I felt bad. I feel bad because I didn't give it credit. Toller Talks for $5 was the one that I was reading. It went by so quick. I missed that it was a super chat. The only actual good representation is President Emmerich, is that who is presented as deaf in the show because the actors portraying him as deaf. But that's the thing, is what we were saying though, and thank you for your super chat. But what we were saying here is that yes, they're doing it right in the sense of using it in story and having it, but they don't tell you that he's deaf. I just assumed
Yeah.
that he was Italian. I just,
Well, it's also confusing to new viewers who probably are looking at this like, is the whole race deaf? Are these aliens? Do they all speak in American ESL? What? But what I want to ask everyone, the chat, everybody on the panel, about that whole scene with the deaf king giving his first kind of diplomatic back and forth with Starfleet. This is the part that cooked my brain. It went by in about 1 second. But they cut to, okay, the king is up there, right? He's talking in sign language. He has a machine on his neck that is then translating that into English and playing it through a speaker in the room. Fine. That's okay. Where my brain is still so fucked up is then they cut to this black lady who is signing for the audience, right? For the audience watching the king. So basically, what I think they wanted to do is have some representation in terms of deaf translators. Great, whatever. But they have a woman who is signing to the audience while the king is signing to the audience. So she's not translating anything. She's merely repeating the things that he is saying, which are also being translated into English and everyone can hear them. So who is that woman signing to and why? What is the purpose of the interpreter signing to the audience what's already being signed to the audience? Make that make sense to me. Somebody has got to know what was going on there.
Sign language isn't universal. There's actually like a bunch of different sign languages. I do know that, but I don't think that was I don't think this was like a translation of sign language to sign language. It reminded me. I have to find it. There was a video years ago of someone doing. Well, they were just doing sign language translations of like it was like a political speech, and they didn't actually know what sign language. They were just doing random motions, and there was like a tribunal of sign language specialists like assembled, and they're like, "What is this guy even doing?" Like they couldn't figure. They didn't match anything. I got to find that.
Well, and I do have to step away, but before I do, it's wild that they don't have, just like it's weird that the captain wears glasses when we have Geordi who has cyber eyes. It also doesn't make sense that we can't cure deafness in this era either. We have colloquial implants today, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. One thing that we sort of missed that was another one of my pet peeves was, so you're having a hologram take up space in your classes, right? Now I'm sure they could fit hundreds of people in these classes or whatnot, but and clearly they don't have a much of a standard for what the how to get into Starfleet Academy. But why does a hologram need to go to school? That was one thing that was bothering me. Like they flat out say, "Oh, well, I was programmed to be 17 years old." It's like, so why weren't you just programmed with all the knowledge you need? Like why? Like, why do you need to go into classes?
I love that I'm in a serious adult conversation where a sentence is
it's as serious as it gets, man. You have no idea. This is the most serious show. I'm sorry.
Why does a hologram need to go to school? That's a great fucking question.
Yeah. What the? It's like
she's there to fill the diversity quota. Yeah, that's a good comment. Probably not enough holograms.
That was one, and I feel like one thing I'm noticing. So like I'm picking out a lot of these surface level things, whereas like you and Jill are picking out more, deep. It just I love that because you get the people who are like really into the lore will pick apart the lore, and then you get some like douchebag like me who's just like, hey, that's just a projection. Why does it need to go to school? And it's like, but they're both valid points about the horror, like how horrible it's written. So where you get to this thing, it's like, okay, they can't get the lore right, but they can't even get basic concepts of reality correct. It's like
right. It's like bad from all angles. It's truly poisoned from the top down, and it's tough.
I really want to get Jill's opinion on that one too when she gets back, but yeah.
I mean, in terms of like things that really I've latched onto that I kind of can't give up on. I mean, yes, I still want to know why someone was translating sign language into sign language for an audience of non-deaf people, but there is something that actually cooked my brain way harder than anything else, and it just might be because I'm making a video on the second episode currently, and it just will not leave my mind. And I just want to throw it out there. This is the thing that really has been fucking with my brain the most. It's very autistic of a thing for me to point out. It's nothing macro.
We appreciate
Very
autism
micro.
around here. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's diversity I can gel with. So there is a moment in the second episode. Now, anybody who hasn't seen the second episode, doesn't matter. Even Hardcut up here, who's bored to fucking death right now, he can even understand.
I'm going to
what
let
I'm about
him.
to say.
Don't worry. In approximately 4 hours, when we're done talking about episode 2, I'll let him have the floor, and he can talk about whatever the hell's been going on that he's been watching.
We can talk about Alien versus Predator Requiem, dude. That's up next, right? That's next.
No, actually, I figured he probably wants to talk about like Bone Temple or something. And it's like, you know,
Just saw that. Yeah, just recorded our
okay.
review.
Well, don't worry, you'll get a chance.
Yeah.
All right. So there is a scene. Now this is gonna. I kind of wish Jill was here to hear this, but regardless, there's a scene, and this will be in my second video. But there's a scene where they quickly cut. It's a 1 second cut as they're introducing the kind of the cafeteria area of the Athena. They cut to this place called the Repla Cafe. It's just a morning Java spot for all the cadets. Whatever, totally fine, makes sense. Now, again, we're living in a world where replicators exist. Replicators, typically in the show, make not only food items, but like everything. Like you say, I want steak and potatoes. The plate comes out. The food is on it. Cool, great with that. It's something that we've, as Star Trek fans, have come to totally accept, and it works. Where the Repla Cafe fucking destroyed me is that the second shot, just to introduce the scene, is someone working at the Repla Cafe. You see their hands in front of the espresso machine, right? They replicate the mug. The mug appears the way things in a replicator do. It just appears on the, right beneath the espresso machine, but they don't replicate the espresso, right? They show the hand pulling the espresso machine. The real bean juice comes out. It goes into the cup. Now, not only is that ridiculous, because then you have to hire people to work at the Repla Cafe in a society with no money. I mean, what would be the impetus for people to want to work there who are going to school anyway when money doesn't exist? That's beside the point. The point is that if you're only replicating mugs and you're not replicating the coffee, then you will have 100,000 ceramic mugs in the cafeteria of this place every day, right? A normal cafe, they have 30 mugs. They wash them at the end of the day. They serve them to the customers the next day. I told you this was autistic. Don't make that face. I told you this was autistic. And then in the Repla Cafe, they are replicating only cups. So every day, every person who buys an espresso gets a newly replicated cup, which is then either thrown away. There's got to be a mountain of 7,000 mugs, and they're not replicating the coffee. So they need to have coffee beans there. Are they replicating the beans and then still using an espresso machine? It's like then you have 2 stages of replication. You're replicating beans, then you're hiring someone to turn the beans into espresso, then you're replicating the cup, which at the end of the day is going to be on a mountain of 100,000 ceramic mugs, and that is the worst part of this show. 0 out of 10.
What would be great is
yeah, that was the part of your review. I really like that part.
What would be great is if right next to the where the mug is replicated, they just have a place where you put it and it just crushes it and it becomes a new instead of cleaning it, it just becomes a new mug. That would be fantastic. That's like straight out of Futurama, though. That's like a true Futurama moment.
This is like what Jill has been doing the whole episode, where it's like there is an answer that a person with a functioning brain could have come up with to explain some of these things with one sentence, one throwaway line, and their refusal to do it is just an admittance that they're not thinking that far, and it's a tough watch because of that. Like
because
every
it's
element
easier
of
it's just easier to get regular coffee makers rather than having to design a replicating machine. Even before New Trek was using 3D printers as their replicators.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on at the Repla Cafe, but I think it's a front of some kind. I don't think anybody needs to be working there. And yeah, I mean, it's little things like this that, are funny, but at the end of the day, when they add up and they're coupled with such retardation in every other category, then my brain is just like every scene. It's like, do I focus on the biggest parts of this that are terrible, or do I zoom in on everything that's broken on the inside? And it's just wherever
Yes.
you look, you're going to find it. I mean, it's really, I can make an hour-long video on these episodes, and Dark Hour can make an hour-long video, and we could probably have completely different points
That
throughout the whole
happens a
thing.
lot with
And
these things too. Like I said earlier, it's sometimes when you get somebody who's really it depends what you're looking at. If you're looking at a very surface level, you're going to probably dig in on, a very specific thing. I said backstage, one of the things that I really noticed is they have this one-off line about how the hollow emitters are broken, so we don't have enough doctors because they're all hologram doctors to deal with the injuries that are coming out of this ship that really honestly should just be destroyed. They're at like 2% shields. There's holes in the hull. Like everything should be just gone. But whatever. I'll accept 2% shields is enough to hold the damn thing together with its magical bullshit wings. That being said, so you have the hollow emitters. They throw this line in there instead of just being like, "Hey, we're not equipped with enough doctor programs for what's happening. We didn't expect to go into combat." That could have been an easier way to say it. This is a transport vessel going to school. We only have a few programs here to do this. But instead they go the route of saying the hollow emitters are down and we can't really get anybody else working. Like basically they're capped. But you have the Sam program walking around, who, not might I add, she can also charge up she can touch the wall and charge it or some shit. I don't know what that was about. But so you have her walking around. It's like, okay, so why don't you just shut her down, and now you have another doctor. You can just use that portion of the hollow. I'm guessing that's how the hollow emitters work. Is that when they're at their capacity, you shut down one of the holograms that's using it, and you now have capacity for a new one. But they're
They talk
capped.
about that in Red Dwarf, where you can only have one hologram on the ship. They only have enough power for that. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
make
so
sense.
so stuff like that. But then it gets even worse a little later when you have Noose Bracca show up, because now they don't use like the traditional holodeck where it's the Skype, or the Discord video chat thing going on. Now a physical being can just show up in your bridge, which seems like a really easy way to just get everything fucked up. Might I add? It just, let's just transport all of our people as hard light holograms, right? And they'll just kill everybody, and we win. But so your hollow emitters aren't working, but he's able to use them himself, like even though you don't have the capacity. One line that was added to try and add flavor to a scene actually undoes three things in that sequence.
yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's coming from a
Yes,
guy who knows shit about Star Trek for the most part, because
but
I
you have
noticed
the
that.
capacity for logic.
Yes, I have the capacity to understand the concept of this technology is not working, but then you show it working multiple times. Not to mention the fact that Nala, my favorite, she is, oh man, she's something else.
Oh my God.
They specifically go out of their way to say that the programmable matter is overriding all of the systems. We can't move. We can't use anything. It's siphoning our shields. Everything is going down. And she keeps telling them to move out of the way. She keeps telling them to move the ship, and it's like if I was in the driver's seat, I would just be like, you fucking do it. Like, what do you like? If it's so easy, you just do it. I've there's It's like, I get she's been away for a little while, but she seems to have never been a good captain. So like, those are just a couple observations I made. Anybody else got any other one? I'm sure you can come up with plenty.
Hard to say like where to even go in on most of this show because it's just so broken. I'm struggling to like really. I feel like it's going to get a lot worse too, which is something that I'm trying to prepare for. I was sending backstage before the show. I sent you guys the promo to the third
Yeah.
episode, the plot of which is a prank war between the War College and the Starfleet Academy kids, where they're like personal transporting each other naked into different parts of the ship. And yeah, I mean, the plot A of that episode is a prank war. So that's where we're at. We're already at prank war. We're 3 episodes in. We're totally
Right,
out of
because
ideas.
you've got to get Gryffindor against Slytherin.
Right. It's literally Harry Potter. I mean, that is going to be the true Harry Potter episode.
So as an outsider, I can understand having these kind of pocket little fun stories in an overall narrative that but if you want to have this prank wars, naked people all over the place show, you probably shouldn't start it with separating children is wrong and all of this. Like they start it so dark, and
Right.
it's like, first of all, they tip their hand real fast on their political ideology. They're just like we're anti-ice and we're not going anywhere on that one for sure. But the whether or not I not saying anything about my political machinations, but the like whether or not you agree with that, it's still a very hard like punch in the mouth thing to start off with, and then you start going into this very like kid friendly shit. It's like you can't start with this like darkness and then immediately go to like you said, I don't want to keep saying Hogwarts, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, at least they did it the other way with Harry Potter, where it started out all fun and hey, everyone's doing stupid shit. He's blowing stuff up, and everyone's retarded, and except for Hermione. And now here it's like we start with the most evil thing you could possibly do, and now we're next episode naked people.
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
know. Actually, Dumbledore commanded respect. I don't really think Holly Hunter's character does. I don't even remember her name. Akka or Aki?
It's
Captain Aki.
Nala
Grammy's
Aki.
So you're correct. She's not a very good captain. There's a scene in the second episode where the doctor's trying to tell her about concerns he has about some goo. I don't really know what he was talking about, but she's just doing her best to try to not interact with him, and she's acting like he's a virus or
it was
something.
the self-replicating mucus. That's
Right.
what that
That's
was the
another
goo.
thing.
What the fuck
which
is
truly is
self-replicating?
it's truly just the sitcom trope of like from Doug, where Doug and Patty Mayonnaise had to take care of an egg in science
Yes.
class and
Actually,
pretend like
what's
it was
funny?
a
I thought of
baby.
that episode as soon that I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I thought of.
That's literally what we're doing.
Well,
Basically episode 1 in the school is based around got to take care of self-replicating mucus in a jar, which is supposed to be the fake baby sitcom trope. And it's just like, I can't believe a writer would still be doing this in this day and age. Like it's shocking, truly.
it's pretty simple. Just don't open the container. It's
Put it in your
self-replicating. It's
room.
self-sufficient. It's now if they would have been like, oh, it's semi-replicating, semi-sufficient, and you need to occasionally give it, I don't know, milk or some shit to like keep keep it going. Then there's a reason to open the jar, open the container. There's zero reason to open it. You could just literally put it there and be like, okay, it's fine. I passed my test, or I get an A because it's fine.
Well, the other thing is, why is everyone bringing around with them everywhere? Why not just put it in your fucking room, call it a day? Why is everybody holding their mucus? They never said like you have to keep this on you everywhere you, unless I missed it. They didn't
No,
say
they
like you
didn't say
have to
that.
keep it on you everywhere you go. But everybody's in all their classes sitting next to their mucus. It's like, just what are we doing? Like with it, when it's a fake baby, right? I mean, in that sitcom trope, you have to keep it with you because in a real life situation, you would keep a baby with you at all times. Where it doesn't work is it's a pile of goop in a fucking jar. So why is anyone even holding on to it? I don't know. Nobody knows.
They didn't want to
People
put
who write it.
anything nurturing in this episode. The whole point of
Right.
it is to
This
care
is
for
great.
something.
It's weird because I don't know what this is. Let me read the one that I just
I
had
love
up
that.
before. So hold on. Again, they're supposed to be college level superior star cadets assigned to middle school
Right.
level tasks. And then
Sure.
when did sourdough take over the fucking world? What is going on? It's everywhere now. Everyone is making sourdough starters. What is
It's so
going
hot right
on
now.
with it? It's like the new hotness. Can someone explain why Is someone in the chat explain which celebrity fucking influencer started that shit? Because I would like to know.
It's like the avocado toast of the year, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's now we need to make the bread for the avocado toast. Next thing you know, it's going to be like now we need to grow the avocados. It's but so Mexico, I guess. I don't know.
Want
Oh
to
man.
talk about anything but
No,
this show?
I
I've
mean, if you
never
want, we can
tried
move on. It's
sourdough. Do
fine.
you guys like sourdough? Because I've never
Sourdough's
tried
good.
it.
I like a good
Oh,
sourdough
yeah, I
bread.
do. Like a good
It
sourdough.
doesn't work for everything. It's good for like toast, sandwiches, stuff like that. It's kind of consistency of similar like rye bread. So
Yeah.
but the
Um,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have also a large macro complaint, and I'm sure most people who've watched Star Trek can probably vibe with this, which is that old Star Trek, DS9, all of the series, they all had commercial breaks. They ran for an hour, but when you watch them at home, it's like 42, 43 minutes. 43 minutes is a great period of time to handle an A plot, a B plot, and a three-act structure. These Paramount Plus slop shows are a hard fucking hour long. They have an extra 20 plus minutes of content that the most complicated Star Trek episodes didn't need to tell their story. So whether it was Disco or this show, I like can't believe how long the episodes feel. Like, especially because it's
Yes.
so bad. A full like at least the Acolyte was like every episode was like 18 and a half minutes long because like
It's funny because it's not just this show. They did it with, and I'll get to the super chat in a second. It was with Stranger Things. It was like that too, and it's this constant need to repeat the plot points because they're
yeah
assuming that no one's watching. That when I'm taking notes for a lot of these things, if you go back and you watch my Acolyte videos, which in fairness was when I first discovered my way to cover TV shows, I've been working on one. So it's a little quicker. I'm covering more broad stroke. I'm not getting into the nitty gritty of the episode, but it was because that was easier to do. Here, I've actually started doing this thing in my videos where I'm just going to fast forward through this and give you really quick bullet points because it's getting to the point where I'm talking about this for a half hour because they
yeah
just keep adding and adding and adding and adding more exposition, more dumb shit that doesn't, and it's like, just get to the point. And it really is because they just keep repeating themselves.
In some cases,
yeah
the
I was
cuts are really fast. Like they say one sentence and then they like now over here on the bridge, now back over here, and oh, we just said that thing, so we're going to repeat the thing we just said because you lost context of what you just saw.
Well,
So
that's
that
why I
is
brought
how
up
the
that's
repetition
why I
is.
brought up the first scene. Within the first 3-4 minutes of the show, you have one character explain, well, we're starving and I needed to shack up with some pirates to, get you food and toys and, the whatever. And then they drag her into a room and they're like, so that you were shacking up with a pirate just, because I understand it's for food. And there's no need to do it that way. You could have
right.
you can have like a 2 or 3 hey, why are we learning this code? And then drag her away. And now the audience, trust your audience. They're smart enough to realize, oh, she was just in a containment before a trial. You don't need to have her say, hey, I'm about to be put on trial, and then have her put on trial. It doesn't
Right.
I fucking hate it. My biggest pet peeve with modern writing is this second screen writing. And they do it in movies too. It's like, do you really want people looking at their phones while you have on a big screen? Like, what are you doing?
I mean,
Padding
I
is
was
even
looking through
worse
my
in the
notes.
second episode.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, what do they repeat this? They repeat the same plot line 4 times in the second episode.
Yeah.
If I do a video for this, I'm talking about it once. I'm not saying it 4 times. You get it
yeah.
once.
I mean, I was looking through my notes as I'm editing my second video, and I was like astounded when I realized that episode 1 starts with, after a couple scenes with the trial, the kangaroo court, but the real crux of the first scene of the show is Nala offers Caleb a life at Starfleet if he can straighten it out and follow her lead. The end of the first episode in her office is a conversation where she's convincing Caleb to stay in Starfleet, straighten out, and follow her lead. The second episode begins with the same conversation between the two of them. He's sick of being at school already. He's not he's not saying yes sir and all this. Then the final scene of the second episode is the same thing again. It is another scene with Nala and Caleb in her office. This is the one where like he throws the apple across the room. It's the same scene 4 times. It's the bookend of both episodes is the same conversation. And it's just like, what are we doing?
I wouldn't be shocked if it's the same. I wouldn't be shocked if it happens again. Maybe not in the very next episode, but I would not be shocked if by like episode 6 they have the same conversation again.
For sure. Yeah. I could see it happening for sure.
I could sense that the audience is even getting a little frustrated with this. So let me just read this super chat, and then I'm going to let Matt take over about since he just watched Bone Temple, and I have nothing. So you're gonna be host for a little while after I read this super chat. I would recommend to everyone, especially the writers.
Before we get off Star Trek, Alex Kurtzman made himself an admiral on that list of
I mean, that's I'm not shocked by that.
He put his name up there.
There are a lot of names up there. They promoted Harry Kim, but not Nog. Nog's supposed to be a captain per the alternate universe in the DS9 episode Visitor. But anyway, that's the only extra thing I had.
So Road on Life Productions for $9.99 American real money, ladies and gentlemen. I would recommend to everyone, especially the writers, to watch Deep Space Nine. That show did everything right, and even the bad episodes are better than this shit. New Trek does everything wrong, and yeah, I mean hey, it's Z3PO, my buddy. I'm gonna get you on one of these episodes. I just wasn't sure if this show was too late for you. Maybe I'll bring you on the next one, so you can complain in your very Z3PO way. But I mean, unless anybody has anything else to say about this, we can move on. So Matt,
they added the descendants of George and Gracie, the whales, the humpback whales, for no reason really, just for their Twilight romance.
And my final note on it is there's a scene where the kids in the quad are playing with a hologram hacky sack. That's it. That's the whole comment.
Okay. I mean, that's works for me. Matt, you said you just saw Bone Temple. I know that it's kind of like the weekend movie. Do your best to tell us about it. I haven't seen it. I'm not really planning to see it. So you're a guy.
Okay. So am I the only one that's seen it here?
I'm not planning to see it. So
this is like the complete inversion of the first hour of the show.
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't sure if you were even showing up.
It's okay. You can sell it to us.
Yes, sell it. That's actually a great way to do it. Sell me on.
What did you think of the first one? I didn't see your guys' review of the first one. What was the consensus?
Well, so we gave the first one a 5 out of 10, and the first one does some things right. The second, but what it does wrong, in my opinion, is that it's like starting to add to the lore, if you want to call it lore, for this franchise that is a little ridiculous. It's just taking it in a weird place, like the whole the infected have hierarchies. They're alpha infected, and then like the infected get pregnant. What the fuck is going on? Like if you watch the original 28 weeks later, or days later,
20 days later,
28 days later, like none of this shit is in there. It's just like a straight up, a new take at the time, a new take on the zombie genre. And it was very successful. It was very scary. Like it was a good movie, in addition to like them taking the lore in places that I don't think it should go. It's also trying to make this into something a little bit more esoteric, something more deep than it really is, and it's like, the fuck is this? Yeah, I know that the original film is sort of about the human condition and what human beings do when this shit hits the fan. Human beings are terrible. I get it. But this one's just taking it to like another, it's like a meditation on humanity. Like, get the fuck out of here, and the new one, like everyone's blowing this new one, right? Oh my God, it's so much better than the last one. No, like it's fine. Like I think I understand why people like this one more because I think that the first part felt like two movies smashed together. Like you have the whole stuff in the very beginning with like the build like that town that's like on that island
Yeah.
and you know, and then they kind of smash it together with the Ray Fine stuff and all that.
And there was a bit of softcore porno going on too. It was a there was that whole aspect of just naked
Oh, we
people
get
running
way
around. And
more of that in this one, by the way.
oh, is there more giant dong
Yeah,
Oh
dudes?
I've
yeah.
heard there's more.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard
There's a
more
lot
dog.
more. Yeah. So yeah, I mean if that's what you're into, then like this maybe
Yeah,
that's why
giant
everyone likes
dong
this one
zombies.
more,
That's
you
the way
know?
to go. I mean, that's a selling point for most
Um,
movies nowadays.
I guess
Yeah.
I'll be the guy who's maybe going to say the thing that nobody likes, but I happen to really enjoy the first one. I think that most of it stems from there's just such a stark difference between watching a movie directed by Danny Boyle and then like watching a movie not directed by Danny
Okay.
Boyle.
Yeah. That's also my issue with this new film. And like
Right. I
and
hate Nia DaCosta, the director of the new one. I mean,
well, I
she's
mean,
made
she
garbage movies.
absolutely. I mean, and to be fair to her for this film, she does a good job, like she does. But
Yeah.
what this film is missing is that energy that Boyle
Right.
brings to it, you know. And
Yeah.
there's a few instances where she might like try to replicate it here and there, but you know, just like that Danny Boyle has this like really raw way of doing things. And as much as I didn't really care for the last one, I actually liked all this the choices he made and like the technological choices that were done in that
Yeah.
film, the stylistic
For sure.
choices, I should say. And that's
Yeah.
absent from this one. This one feels much more like a conventional movie, you know.
See, I think I'm going to probably flip the other way around because for me, 28 Days Later was a great experience. It kicked off the zombie revival. Obviously, The Walking
Yeah,
Dead aped it very closely.
big time.
28 Weeks Later was just classic sequelitis. They more infected, more violence, more craziness. And now we're watching a family, so you're going to be more connected to the characters. Classic sequel. I don't think there's much left to say at this point.
No, then that's
Even
the
before they,
problem. Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah,
And like that's the problem.
right,
Like they're spreading it way too thin. And that's why I feel like they're introducing all these like, you know, half-baked philosophical ideas in it. It's like what the series was never about this shit. What the fuck are you
you know
guys
what this
doing?
sounds like? This kind of sounds like, and maybe it's because I've been watching your whole series on the topic so far, but kind of where I differ with how I'm assuming you guys feel about Prometheus, which is like there's a world where that movie doesn't need to exist. There's a world where 28 years later doesn't need to exist. But watching a director, for me, kind of just throw everything on the table and be nuts in the later half of his career. I'm just like there are so many directors that go in this like safe, sanitized second half of their career, and I just like seeing Danny Boyle kind of back in this manic zone of just like. Yeah, I mean, okay, between that and the fact that it's written by Alex Garland, who hasn't written a straightforward movie in like 15 years now, everything he writes is a subversion of some kind. I got what I wanted out of that movie. I don't want any more straightforward zombie movies. If that was the case, I'd say don't make any more at all. Just leave 28 days and weeks where it is. I knew it was going to get weird. I respect anybody that thinks that the first one was terrible. I just thought it was gorgeous and it looked better than any movie I saw that year.
Well, yeah, I
And
mean, yeah,
it had a lot to
the
at it
way
though.
that the way this new one is executed, it's first and foremost like the Alex Garland script. So even if Nia DaCosta, whatever the fuck her name is, even if
Is
she
she the
didn't
sole
direct
writer on
this,
this one too?
Alex Garland's sole writer, yeah.
Okay, all right, interesting.
So he even if she wasn't the director, if someone else did it, there's nothing that she brought to it that makes it uniquely hers, like whatever the fuck that means. I don't know what a visual stamp of Nia DaCosta is. Like I have no idea. But the point is, it doesn't
Right,
really matter who directed this one. And
sure.
in my mind, I would have liked to have seen Danny Boyle come back, and because you at least would have had those Danny Boyle isms in it, but you don't get those. So I mean,
Do we
there
know
are
what the
good things,
status of the third one is?
huh?
Do we know what the status of the third one is? Because this one came out 28 weeks after the first one. But is there like an announcement about the third? Is there a director?
Yeah,
Is
see,
it
I don't
boiler?
know because from what I understood, and I could be wrong about this, but they kind of shot uh, parts 1 and 2 kind of back to back, even though they're different directors. I don't think
Because
3 is that way though. I think that they're actually gonna, uh, you know, have to. It's like a separate film.
I know
Um,
Killian Murphy's supposed to be in the third. That's the only thing they've really
well,
said
yeah,
so
I
far.
don't want to give anything away, but yeah. So like,
I mean,
Hmm.
you're not.
Okay.
It's all over the.
Oh, I didn't see that yet, but whatever. I don't care.
And
Whatever.
like literally,
well,
as
and
soon as
like,
it happened, everybody
I,
was like, "Oh, he's back in
and it's
it."
hard to talk about some of the other like some of that because when I can't really say because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but like there is just like something, and you're like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, if you guys saw it, then we can talk about it. But that's all I'll say about the end of the film, I guess. But performance wise, everyone's really good in this movie. Like the Ray Fiennes is like just a great actor, phenomenal, and like what he does with the character is good. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just more zombie carnage. Like there's barely that's my other issue with the movie. Like the infected are like an afterthought. They
Right.
don't really do anything with them in this movie. So like there are
Hmm.
characters that just walk in the forest, not with zero care in the world, and then like an infected will come up to them and they just like kill them real quick. And it's like in the original, it wasn't just like you had to worry about the infected murdering you. You also had to worry about like, well, if you did take out an infected, like the blood getting on you and like you becoming infected yourself. No,
Hmm.
Yeah, there's that very iconic looking up and the blood
with
in the
with
eyes
Brendan
scene.
Gleeson.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Which
threat
like
is
that's the
just not
most well
not there.
remembered sequence from the original movie. It's
Yeah. But
so
Is
that being
Is
said,
Aaron Taylor Johnson in this one?
no, 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 that
What?
also, no,
Not
he's
at
not
all.
at all. Like at all. He's not even in the
That
credits.
doesn't even make sense.
Nope,
So he
exactly.
just doesn't care where his kid is. We
I
just that's
don't
it. Bye,
I mean,
bye, Spike.
I guess the argument you can make is this movie only takes place like over the course of a couple days, so maybe he just
Okay.
hasn't gotten
Yeah.
there yet, but
Sucks 'cause he
no,
got
like that.
shafted in the first one too.
Yeah, he did. And like that was the first part. I like that, like the opening to the film where they're
Yeah.
him and his son are out there, like them, that stuff's great.
Yeah. That was
And
money.
that's where the movie was sort of firing on all cylinders. And you
Mhm.
don't have that aspect. Like you don't know what's going on with Aaron Taylor Johnson whatsoever.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah,
Wow. Okay. Because
yeah.
I love the setting too. You have this incredibly rich setting out in the water on that that island. I mean, to throw
You don't
that
see that
away
at all.
felt like that's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, those
See, I
people
haven't
are
even
not
really
part of
seen a
this.
trailer. I don't think I've seen a full trailer for it. I'm trying to avoid it just because I don't know, preserve whatever I have left from the series and see it in theaters. But that's crazy. That's like the
Yeah,
only good element you're saying from the first one for me are kind of out the
and,
window. So
and I'm like shitting on it right now. We ended up giving it, spoiler for our review, but we ended up giving it the same rating as what we gave the first film. I just don't understand how everyone's liking this one more than the first part. I don't get it.
is there
So
just more gore? I heard maybe it's
no,
more
I mean
violent.
it's not. There's more. No, not really. There's more violence in it, I guess, but not from the infected. So like it's a brutal movie. It's extremely brutal. What
Usually in cases like when the first movie is like okay received, then everybody dogpiles the second one.
I know.
This is interesting though that I mean the reaction to this movie has been crazily positive.
Yeah, I don't. And we even say in our review that we're probably going to get some shit for this one because, I mean, Bobby felt the same way as me. Like, without me saying anything or him saying it, no influencing between the two of us. We both kind of came to the same conclusion. Like, yeah, it's not horrible or anything, but it's not great. And that's just kind of how we felt about the first one too.
Yeah.
And Ray
I mean, I
Fiennes is
wouldn't
in it, so this is another callback to Harry Potter. We can mention Harry Potter again. He's Voldemort.
Yes.
So one thing you
It's
guys
what
said a little earlier, and I do think that there is a shelf life for any zombie franchise, unfortunately. Because after a while, it's just like, and I've said this on a few streams in the past when people didn't necessarily agree with me, but you get to a point where it's like, what are we even fighting for anymore? There's nothing left of the world,
Well,
you know.
but that's just
So
it. Like that
you
that's
know,
also what's to add to this that's annoying about this series is apparently the world has moved on outside of the UK. Like
oh,
basically outside
that happened already in real life. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the world is
UK just pulled out of the empire, and everyone was like, okay, see you later. We're just gonna
but
move on with our lives. Let's
the
go.
infected has been just relegated to the island, like the United Kingdom. That's it. So, but like they're never clear. Like, okay, so why are there still people that live on in the UK then? Like, and if you don't want to live there anymore, can you just like wave down a boat and they'll pick you up? Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it's like there's got to be ways off of the island. It's a
Yeah,
very large island. There's got
yeah.
to be some ports you can go to. You
With
know.
like the island that Aaron Taylor Johnson, like that clan is on, that at least kind of makes sense, I guess, because maybe they're just like a group of people that want more of like a simple life, and this just living on this little island gives them the opportunity to do that. I don't know, but you're just not you're never clear of like what are the actual rules to this universe that you're in. So you're left going, well, why are they there? Leave, you know?
I think it would be really funny if the next movie is like 28 decades later, and they go to the zombies have officially they've taken over completely. There's no regular people. They've unified a society, and they go to day jobs. You know, they're like just zombies
That's where it's heading.
on computers, just typing away. You know, zombie newscasts, zombie tube, everything. It's just got this whole, you have this sub economy of zombies. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Ray
really
Fiennes has
into.
started a flying school for the zombies to all learn at.
Yeah, you know, you got there's zombie there's zombie makeup and skin products, you know, to help ease your ease your level of degradation. Um,
Don't give them too many good ideas.
do do any zombies drive a truck? That'd be cool. Yeah, there's zombie
That'd be
truck
cool.
drivers. It's like, you know, it's the, yeah, it's
That would be
like
cool.
Shaun of the Dead. They just kind of live their lives. I think that's the where you got to go. It's, you know, the world. There's a zombie delegate at the UN. He's like, but every single time they're voting, he on what the world needs more of, he just says brains every time, and they're just like, okay, fine, move on.
Well, from what I understand, like what you're describing right now, that's kind of what they're going to do with the zombies in the new Resident Evil game. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
I'm I'm nervous
Really?
because, well, about Resident Evil, because it's my favorite. It's the last vestige of like video games I still have.
yeah.
Like, you know,
Those are the only games
Metal
pretty much that I play.
Oh,
Gear
sorry, I didn't mean
toward the end. You know, it's like Resident Evil kind of got itself back,
It
and
did.
you know, because like, and I've always been a defender. I said six would have been like a decent game, not a great game, but a decent game if they just didn't make it a Resident Evil game. Like,
Yeah, 6 is like if Michael Bay got hold of Resident Evil, that's what it
exactly.
is.
Well, actually, I would say five is really where that started with
It did. No,
Yeah,
well, you can even say that there are traces of it in 4, but yeah,
yeah.
definitely 4 is one of
They,
my favorite games
they
of all
needed
time.
four. I've always said that, unfortunately, as much as I love the original four, you know, for the GameCube, and it was needed to push the. Where did Dan go? Just look. I'm just
Here. I'm here.
reminiscing about my Resident Evil love, and Leon,
Sorry.
help. But what was it? Oh, they needed to evolve the game a little bit. The static cam and stuff had gone the
No,
way
I
they.
I agree, and like 4 is a fantastic game. It's one of the best games ever made. You know,
It's
like for
still.
sure.
I always say this. I think that it's like the remake was good, but I
Oh,
still
I
think the
liked it a
original
lot.
is significantly better
I
because it
wouldn't
just
say
The
I
original
the
on GameCube stressed me the fuck out, and in all the best ways humanly
it's because they
possible.
didn't
It
hold your
was
hand.
really
That was before
yellow
difficulty
paint.
scaling.
Yeah, and yellow paint
yeah,
on
Mm.
all the
yeah.
barrels and shit. It's
Like
so
the
stupid.
first time
What are
you
you
really
buying?
get cornered by a
Oh
dude with a
boy.
chainsaw in 4,
I
it's
gotta
just
find.
it's
I
Yeah.
really
gotta
an
find
experience.
them. I gotta find there. I don't know how I got down this rabbit hole recently, but there was videos of somebody who had like a infinite grenade code, but it was like he would pause the game and throw like 1,000 grenades like
Yeah, I've
really
seen it.
fast.
It's like they got like a giant ball of grenades on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know how I ended up down that rabbit hole, but it was some of the funniest shit. Like he would throw so many that they would be blowing up through the entirety of cutscenes. It's just,
Yeah.
I
um,
loved. I mean, like seven blew my mind. I mean,
7 was
I
fantastic. Yeah.
loved that game. That game drew me in like in ways that I really was not expecting from a Resident Evil game. Because like you guys were saying, the one before that was like literally Michael Bay. Was just, I mean, it was fine from like an action gaming point of view, but I figured that the series was going to infinitely head in that direction. I really didn't see them doing the hard reset
they
that they
had to
did.
Yeah.
course correct. They had to course correct because they lost the core audience.
They did. They
And
scaled back, but in the most splendid way possible.
yeah,
That
and
But
then
game
they
Tokyo
were
Village
like, and then they went, then
is
they course
pretty
corrected a little bit too hard. They were like, here's a
good.
9 foot gigantic titty vampire
Well,
chick.
yeah,
Here you
like
go.
Village
Okay,
was
now
weird.
hold on.
Village
Hear
was
me
weird
out.
because it was like you took 7 and 4, which are like totally different games,
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
mashed them together. I
some good
do
ones.
enjoy Village. It kind of works, but I
Yeah,
loved
Village
Village when I
works
first
once.
played it.
Once you, it does not
yeah.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that.
playability,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
and
was
want to
just gonna
play it
say
again.
that.
yeah, but I do find that funny that in this one they took the female antagonist creature and we're like, just we're gonna make it ugly. We don't want weirdos trying to making hypersexualized videos about the
They still will.
It takes
and that
so
was the
long.
funny part is like the fans were like, try us, we'll figure it out. If
Oh,
there's
yeah. Oh,
if it has a hole, there's a way.
I'm a big Lady D fan, dude. I would play Village again in VR just to like get crushed by mommy. So
Well, that's the
I get
problem though. Like
this
it's
stream,
only the first part of the
Jill's like,
game
what the
that
hell
has
am I
her.
part of right now? She's like, this, we started with Star Trek, now there's giant boob vampires, what's going on?
I'm enjoying the chat who like your idea of having a zombie workplace drama with the politicians, yoga
Yeah.
retreat.
Office space in with zombies would be great. That would be like, just like somebody going in, like, I'm gonna need you to come in for the rest of your existence because you don't have a death, or you don't have to sleep, you don't even have to really technically eat. We're just gonna let you come in forever.
You haven't
I'm real.
brought in enough brains.
Zombie
I'm real
strippers, actual movie.
curious.
I have seen zombie strippers, and it is a weird fucking movie, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. So, oh man, I don't know. I'm kind of out. Anybody have any more topics? I mean, we're at an hour and 50.
I am
minutes.
psyched to just final comment on that on the Resident Evil topic. I'm really
Oh, we can
excited
keep
to see
talking. I can
what's
talk about Resident Evil all fucking day, dude.
Oh, I
I
can't wait
mean,
till
if,
this game
Jill
comes
wants
out.
to head out, I don't know if she's a Resident Evil person. I'll talk about. I will
This shit's
extend
it's
this.
pre-ordered, so I'm
I will
really looking
extend
forward to
this stream by another hour to talk about Resident Evil. So
I'm really
I
excited to
don't
see
mind
what Zach
listening for
Greger is
now.
going to do with the movie.
Oh,
That should be really interesting.
yeah, I don't
I mean,
know.
I don't like weapons. I thought it was okay. I did like Barbarian, but I feel like it's an interesting choice for a director, and it seems like he's passionate about it. It's got to be
It
better than the
does.
Netflix show,
It does, but
right?
I don't like how he's just doing his own thing. That bothers me. They still haven't done a proper
Right.
adaptation of any
Great
of the
up.
games. So, and I
Sure.
want that. And
Yeah.
if he were to do that, like, if he was like, yeah, I love the first game, it's my favorite game of all time, and I'm going to do it, then hey, I'd be all for that. But
I just don't
no,
understand why it's so hard for them to translate games. I mean, obviously later on it wasn't like this, but the first game is very much based on a B movie.
oh,
You know,
absolutely, yeah,
even
yeah,
the second and third game have the
absolutely, yeah,
feel of B movies. Not
yeah.
quite as bad as not quite as much as the first one. But it just seems like the script is written. Like,
I
why are you
completely
Yeah.
making
agree.
this so difficult? When is that?
That's what's crazy about it, right? I mean, we basically have not only that, but you have sequels built in. The first one can be in the mansion, great, spooky. The second one can be like Aliens. It's in a city, everything's
Yep,
taken up
exactly.
notch.
Ooh,
Then you could do
explosion.
Village, or a mix between Four and Village. But the fact of the matter is, like, everybody just wants to try to do their own thing, and I just don't. I don't
Yeah,
understand
it's like
why.
Hollywood knows best. Like, oh, you like this shit from the games? Okay, well, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna have anything from the games in it. Well, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Like it, like I
It's
don't.
funny because to this day, the closest thing to one of the games is, and it pisses me off that I have to use, I have to
Show.
put this what?
The
What?
Netflix show.
No. The closest thing that the one that actually got at least some of the aspects of the game of the game they were pitching from
Right.
correctly was the second movie with Nemesis,
Yeah,
and it
God, that
still
movie
was
sucked
so
though. It was
far
so fucking
away.
bad. Yeah.
It was so bad and so far, but there was at least a couple of scenes where you're like, okay,
Well,
it's
what was her name? Jill Valentine in it. She was good. Like she had the look,
Yeah.
like the character was cool. They could have, the movie
and they
sucked, but
sidelined her for
they did
the
for
director's
Alice.
wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he
Did
didn't
you
direct
guys
that one though.
feel like
Yeah.
remember a couple years ago, even a Resident Evil movie came out that
Yeah.
looked for
Welcome to
trailers.
Raccoon City. Yeah.
That one, and that was so stupid. They tried to
Didn't see
combine the
that.
first and second game into one movie.
And,
Like you can't
and
do that.
they turned Leon into a total cuck too. It fucking sucked. God, that was
I didn't
horrible.
see that one, and I've always been
I
curious about whether or not I should watch it.
It's
No, that's a
awful.
hard
It's
no.
awful. It's awful.
Awful. Okay.
Yeah.
did I miss
It's
any? Let
unfortunate.
me make sure I didn't miss any
How many
supers
times can you
before.
fuck up the same thing? It's pretty incredible. Paul
I
W.S.
mean,
Anderson
is it more faithful than the Mila Jovovich movies? Sure,
has to be,
but
right?
yeah, but it's still
right.
it's awful though.
That sucks.
Other than that, anybody have anything else they want to say? Because
I'd
I'm
say
cool with
Kathleen
calling it.
Kennedy.
Oh, Kathleen
Rest in
Kennedy.
peace.
I mean, we sort of already predicted that on the last episode.
Yeah,
Well, then
fair
I
enough.
shouldn't say we predicted it. I mean, we got the scoop on it because we were like the first show after that the speculation that it was going to come down in the next week
Okay.
or two was.
Yeah.
We just happened to be going on, and I remember saying like, I don't have a topic, and then this landed in my lap. Yeah, I don't really care anymore. Actually, that's a great question. What is in a worse position, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek.
You think so? I'm not really sure.
Dude, Star
It
Trek's
depends.
ruination began 6 or 7 years before The Force Awakens even happened. I mean, they've really, really hammered Star Trek to a point where, like, I'm in awe. I mean, there are some projects in the Star Wars revival, like Andor, that I thank God every day that shit exists, and there's not a single morsel of Kurtzman's creations that aren't absolutely cursed beyond belief. So, like, yeah, I think if you quantized like all of the Star Wars Disney output, quantified all of the Disney output,
quantized. I like it. I'm going to use that.
versus all of the Kurtzman slop, I think you would find that there are more, whether it's Clone Wars episodes, some of the revival series that they did with that. There are pockets of okay Disney Star Wars, Rogue One, things like that. But yeah, I mean, sure, the sequel trilogy. I would say the sequel trilogy offended me and pissed me off more than anything single in Star Trek's revival, because it just like was so baffling how bad it was. But Star Trek is just, I mean, there's no value. It's just been 18 fucking terrible products in a row. So, I mean, for me, it's Star Trek.
But I'm with you there. There's been nothing in JJ or Kurtzman Trek that's been in any value to me, and it all started when Les Moonves canceled Star Trek Enterprise, and it just snowballed from there. When lots of cool people stepped up and said, "Hey," like J. Michael Straczynski wanted to do a Star Trek, and they didn't let him do it. So, and Rick Berman and everybody were like, "We still love Star Trek. We still make it for you guys." And they went a different direction with JJ, and that destroyed everything. Basically,
Yep.
It's almost like putting J.J. Abrams involved with anything will inevitably lead to its downfall.
Not Mission Impossible.
It seems like we can find the common denominator here at the starting point of this. So
yeah, that's for sure him.
I didn't bring any comments this week. I had a couple good ones, but somebody, let me see, did I put any in my Discord that I could say? Like, I might have one here. Well, I won't bring it physically up, but
but it's possible that Kurtzman won't get his contract renewed, which is what I'm hoping for, and he doesn't get any deal whatsoever, and they say, "See you later."
I just have a request for Matt before we wrap up. I know we're getting to the point where you guys are going to review Prometheus and Covenant. We're getting there. I know that. I know in my heart it's not going to be positive. I've accepted that. All I'm asking for you is just take a fucking breath before you watch them, okay? Just I know there's a lot of wrong-headed shit in both of those movies. And Covenant especially I think is mental. Just think about where you've come from. AVP, Alien Resurrection. Just put it in the right perspective. Just give it any flowers is all I'm asking for. Let's not, you can put the cuck hat on Numi Rapace in the thumbnail. I don't care. Do what you got to do, but
No, that no,
just take one breath.
there will be no pussy hats on the thumbnails. There will be retarded special needs helmets on the
Yeah.
thumbnails. That's what that's what's going to happen. Sure. I mean, look. There are some good things about Prometheus, and we're going to be fair. That's all I'll say. We're
Let's
going to be fair.
stop there. Just stop the review there, is what I'm saying.
All right, so
Uh,
I do actually have a comment, and this one I just love to highlight these ones. These my favorite comments are the ones where I can't tell if the person's trolling or if they just were typing in the wrong box.
mhm.
But this one I'm not even sure what the hell this person said. So hold on.
Comments.
I
Like
am the master of the clit. Remember this fucking face. Wherever you see clit, you'll see this fucking face. I am the clit commander.
So I have no fuck. Maybe someone else can like let me know what the hell this guy is saying. So this was for my most recent Stranger Things video, and he said, "My word, what an utterly shit atmosphere it was! Like a preseason friendly. Great stadium, all yellow, reminds me of a Tonka truck. Great view from the stands you were in, but really the atmosphere was dire for a team." Was dire for a team third in the league that really was atrocious. I think that's the worst atmosphere I've seen in your videos. And I think my
that.
response
That
sums it up.
had to be. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, I was
That
like,
has to be. And I've been noticing this in a lot of my comments on some of the bigger videos that I've had recently.
Mhm.
That's just like some guy in the Philippines
Yeah, I was
desperately
gonna say
trying
that
to
guy sounds
steal
like
shit.
he's from India or something.
Yeah, I was having trouble even reading it because it just
Was
goes,
there
it
too much
changes.
yellow? Did you promise it was
Well,
yellow
yellow. I'm
prominent?
assuming it sounds like he was talking about like a soccer match, yellow
Yeah.
cards. But I was like, what? Like, what did this have? I think the previous one I had someone who was talking about taking hair off the back of their neck because it would be thicker. I was like, so yeah, I don't
Really
have
need a
any.
segment that's just like foreigner or retard for my
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually, yeah, it's foreigner or retard, everybody.
That would be a good segment, I think. So,
Well, actually, I was, and I'll say this because originally I was trying to reach out to Echo Chamberlain about this because this was a segment that he used to do, and I really miss it. I kind of want to revive it, and I wish I would have thought of it like more than a day ago. But I want to bring back the like pitching an idea to me to me as the host. Like, I would have given you like if you were doing a Star Trek series, what would you do? And like obviously you have to make it entertaining. It's got to be like an elevator pitch. Um, but it's so like it's got to be a little funny, when you're telling me what's going on. But like the best pitch wins, and it was like we used to do it. It would be like three pitches basically, and whoever won two out of the three was the winner, which was
I
pretty
love
cool.
that. That's great. You should
I'd
bring
like to
that
bring it
back.
back. I just wanted to like talk to him about because I don't want to like step on his toes too hard, but I haven't been able to get a hold of him. And they revived my Twitter, everybody. It was random, but they did it.
Oh,
So I'm
nice.
back. Yeah. I don't know why. I guess they finally realized I'm real. I don't know. But I question that sometimes. But I think that's pretty much everything for us today. So let's get the old. It's time for everybody to plug their shit, and that is when you tell us where you are, where you've been, where we could find you, what you have coming out. Pretty much anything. You could honestly tell us whatever the fuck you want. I don't just plug it. We'll start with Anti-Derivative Jill.
Sure, I have a channel called Anti-Derivative Jill, so you just have to look up my name.
It's in the description.
The description. It's also Racerhead's been posting my link. Thank you very much for that. I just like I want to celebrate good science fiction, so I mostly talk about good stuff. If I talk about the bad stuff, it's usually during one of my open talk shore leave shows where where in the last one I did talk a bit about Starfleet Academy, and I also play games and have hangouts, and I have 2 member streams a month if you become a member, and
I do want to get on one. Like, I have to figure out the timing for it, but I want to get on one of your Twilight Zone streams one of these days, because
Oh,
those are
absolutely.
I love. So I used to be a tradition of mine. Every New Year's Eve, I would watch the Twilight Zone marathon till I passed out, and then I'd wake up and I'd continue watching it. And they wouldn't always necessarily play it in the same order. So from time to time, like obviously they'd play the big hits, the like there was time now and all like the famous ones, it's a
Mhm.
cookbook. But then occasionally you'd come across one that you never saw, or like you hadn't seen in a long time, and it was it was
That's a
always
great
fun.
holiday tradition. One of the things to remember, though, if you show up on my stream, is not all of them are the big hits that you see on.
No, and that's the thing is sometimes some of the better ones are not the bigger hits,
Mhm.
and so
Sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes they're
I'd have to
sleepers.
if you have like a list of the ones that you have coming up, I'll take a look and I'll see if maybe I can figure out the timing on it
Yeah,
for us to get
definitely.
to.
Okay, so I stream on Tuesdays for Twilight Zone, 11 a.m. Central Time, and I also stream at 11 a.m. Central on Fridays and 11 p.m. on Saturdays. And it toss up what I do on Saturday.
That's good.
There you go. That's
Uh,
my channel. Okay,
Now,
Dan,
I
check me
assume
out.
that you are. I assume when you say you're streaming the Twilight Zone, you're talking about the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone.
oh yeah, definitely.
Never,
Yeah,
never.
definitely.
I'm never talking about that shit. Oh my
That
god,
shit.
that is the worst
Oh,
abomination ever.
that was so bad.
They tried to do the terror at 1,000, 50,000 feet or whatever, and it
Yeah,
was extremely woke.
To
I don't like to use that word, but it's a
yeah,
defined.
this day, so the Twilight Zone movie, I've always kind of had an appreciation for their take on the terror at 50,000
yeah,
feet.
100%.
Because it goes they take it in a different direction, whereas like the actual Twilight Zone episode, like the actual show I should say episode, it was almost like there's this big lumping goofy fucking thing that's just like hey, what's this, I'm gonna smash this thing and it's gonna, but like the one in the movie was like genuinely
Terrifying.
Yeah, it was
terrifying.
fucking
Terrifying.
scary.
Like,
As a
and
kid, I feel like all three of us are people, or all four of us probably watched it as kids, and it scared the fuck out of me. That
Yeah.
segment.
and what's his
Oh
I
my
can't remember his
god,
name all of a sudden.
John
The
John
Lithgow?
Lithgow.
John Lithgow, yeah, he really sells that like
He
so good.
does.
Like and it's, I mean,
Yeah.
you're following up Shatner in one of the, and probably the most well-known episode of Twilight Zone ever, and you're redoing it. So I mean, there's some pressure there to do that.
That's going to be the last thing I review when I finish the series. I will review the movie.
Oh,
There's
okay. But that
something.
maybe that's the one I need to get in on, because I actually have a real
Mhm.
appreciation for the movie. So
I like
I
the
do
that
movie
love
as
it.
might
well.
be, we'll see. We'll work it out. But Dan, what do you got coming up? I mean, we know what you got coming up, but I guess tell us like your timeline.
I mean, I up until like 2 or 3 days ago had a pretty strict schedule I was going to stick to for the next couple months. I read a 30 book series that I was going to do a huge long form video on. I was going to interview a couple directors of some found footage and some indie movies that I featured on my channel. And then a couple days ago, I released a slop trek Starfleet Academy video that is in the 175,000 view range right now,
Yeah,
and
it's
is
killing
just
it, man. Keep it going.
Nice.
I
detonated
want
my
next time you're
channel.
on, I want you to have more subscribers than me. That's what I want.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm catching up to you guys. I'm like in the 18 zone now.
Yeah,
You
you're not.
guys
I
are
mean,
like
you're not
big
far
20
behind us,
boys.
but I
You guys are
I
them
say
big
that
20
with, because
boys.
like I say that like with the most, I love when I see somebody, because obviously you have a passion for Star Trek. So, and I said this earlier, the fact that that's your video that took off is fucking awesome, because that means
Interesting.
that
Yeah.
people get to see that passion. Nothing's
Yep.
worse than like a video where you're just like,
You're
I'll
just doing
do
it to do it.
it,
Yeah.
and then that
And
takes off, and you're like, ugh. Like,
the only other video that I've had that have done those, even close to those numbers, was Alien Earth. So, and that's my other favorite franchise of all time. So maybe I am born to just bitch about all of my favorite things being fucking destroyed in my face. So if you want to be along for the ride, I think it's highly possible that I'll release the second episode review by the weekend. And I'm just assuming it's going to get like 720 views, and that'll be the end of that. I'll go back
Yeah,
to my normal
you'll
life.
get used to that. You'll have a couple pop off, and then you'll have a couple that do absolutely nothing. It's par for the
But like,
course.
everybody gets their heyday moment where they're just like caught into a loop bitching about something that resonates with everybody. I mean, I think for Hardcut, it was really Alien Earth that's what brought me to your channel. And I agree with you fully, Dark Hour, that when you latch onto something that you love and you really throw your back into hating it, it can be a pretty special event. So if you want to see what I'm cooking up with that show, check me out, The Movie Blues. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have anything official other than a Facebook discussion zone, which is linked on my YouTube page. And I don't know, it's going to be an interesting ride from here on out. And I will see everybody as Starfleet Academy plays out over the next, I think it's 10 episodes. I don't even think it's 8.
I believe so. I believe it's 10. Yeah.
I don't know if I've got 10 videos in me about this topic, but I guess we'll see how
then
bad
just
it
do
really
2 or
gets.
3, and if you're see how you're feeling. You know,
And there's going to be a season 2.
That's one of the reasons why
it's already being filmed, right? They're halfway through filming it.
So I'll tell you a little tip about like why I do it the way I do it. So I do multiple episodes in one video because I just didn't have it in me to do episode. So like I kind of pocket them, like package them together, and I'm like, okay, here's a video for 3 episodes, 4 episodes, whatever it may be. Sometimes 2 if they're really dense. And I that worked for me. If I don't know how people do the every episode thing. I don't know how Hardcut did it. You guys are fucking nutcases.
Hey, that was the first time we even did that. So yeah.
It's a crazy grind. It really is a crazy grind. Like I'm finishing the second one in a row, and even that is like very overwhelming. So yeah, kudos to you guys for running that whole Alien Earth
it was
series.
fucking brutal. It was brutal. Like it sucked because it was 1 a week. So it was just like, oh my God.
I get to the point where it's almost like Stockholm syndrome after a while though, where like at first I hate making the video for the thing because I'm just like so pissed off. And then by the end of the last one, I've just like it's become this like sick thing where I'm just loving every moment of it. It's weird.
It just sucks when you start another one and it's like, oh God, because you know how long it takes and like the mountain in front of you basically. But once you kind of get into the flow, then it's fun. And then when it's done, it's like cathartic and everything. But you gotta do it again.
I call that RPG syndrome. Anybody who's ever started a new RPG, like RPG syndrome, RPG game. You realize that the beginning of every RPG sucks because you're like, okay, now I have to do the tutorial, and then but like when you're about 3-4 hours in, you're like, okay, now I'm having fun, you know.
Right.
All right. You kind of already said it, but what's your guys' timeline, Matt?
Yeah, so we've got our Bone Temple review in the can. Bobby's cutting that one. That should be released this weekend. And then we also have we filmed both Alien versus Predator reviews back to back, like just and I'm cutting that one, so that'll be released the week after. And then we're just going to continue movies that come out, and then finish off our Alien series. So
the best part about Requiem is you barely need to do anything to the footage. It's so dark that even YouTube's filters can't figure it out as long as you don't use the audio.
It's easy to get past copyright.
We actually do discuss that, and like it might be kind of a hot take when we talk about the way the movie looks. So yeah, but I will say this: fuck that movie. That is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it is god awful.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good review.
Better than Alien Earth, though. I mean, I've watched Requiem for leisure, for laughs, more times than I would ever. I mean, you'd have to hold a gun to my temple to get me to watch an episode of Alien Earth again, for real.
Yeah, I mean, you can at least watch AVP Requiem for the lulz. That is for sure.
Yeah.
As for me, I'm not even sure what the hell's going on my channel right now. So originally I was planning on doing something for Wonder Man in the near future, and then I found out they're releasing the whole damn show at the same time. So I'm kind of in like this weird holding pattern right now, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Are you
doing more Asher?
I might redo that, but the problem was that they age restricted it, and so it just killed.
Your video got age restricted.
Well, I mean, it's Spartacus. No amount of censorship could like really make that work.
Well, you're not like showing the wangs on the fucking.
No, I covered them all, and it was I think it might have been just the because there's still like thrusting and stuff going on.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you can't show that shit.
It's but no matter how much.
it pained me to see how many, like the bathhouse scene in your video where there's like 80 dicks being covered. I was like, well, he did it for the right reasons. He's going to make some good, a chunk of change on this video. It's going to do great. And then you said it got age restricted. I was like, dude,
Yeah, I covered it.
that
I covered it with
sucks.
like everything.
I
I
don't know,
covered
man. Maybe a dick slipped in there and you didn't catch it, and then
Maybe,
but
yeah.
YouTube caught it.
Possibility. It's too late now. That's a project I might redo when I'm like it's a really slow time. So who knows? But other than that, you can see me back here soon. Then that just leaves for me to say thank you to all our guests. Thank you to the chat, my co-hosts, who one of these days you guys will both be on at the same time at the start of the show. But it's been fun. These shows have definitely started to find their way, and I'm getting all these segments to the point where this thing will be self-sufficient soon enough, and I won't even need to show up. I'll just be like, go ahead, have fun, and I'll go fuck off. But that being said, catch everybody later.